In a tragic incident from Hoshiarpur, an overspeeding truck ran over students on their way to school. 4 children have been declared dead and 11 school students who are gravely injured have been shifted to hospital following serious injuries. A woman in an inebriated state allegedly assaulted and manhandled an auto driver in Madhya Pradesh's Gwalior. The incident took place at the Central Park Hotel City Centre, where 2 women objected to an alleged eve-teasing attempt. The women could be seen indulging in a fierce argument with the driver. One of them went on to hit the driver in anger and also abused him. Amid the ongoing economic crisis in Sri Lanka, the Indian Coast Guard rescued 8 refugees from the island nation who were stranded for 3 days in the middle of the sea near Dhanushkodi in Tamil Nadu. The Sri Lankan refugees include 3 children and an infant as well. The Nationalist Socialist Council of Nagaland (NSCN) has stated that it would not forego the demand for a separate flag and constitution under any circumstance as it negotiates the Naga political issue. The faction of the party that is holding peace talks with the government for over 2 decades said it attaches great importance to the Naga flag and constitution as part of the solution. The government has firmed up its plan to give specific names to all 23 aims, including the one in Delhi, based on regional heroes, freedom fighters, historical events or monuments of the area or their distinct geographical identity. The Union Health Ministry has reportedly drafted a proposal to give specific names to all the aims which are fully functional, partially functional and also those that are under construction. According to Union Health Ministry data, India logged 9,531 fresh coronavirus infections that pushed its tally to above 4 crore, and the number of active cases has come down, however, to about 97,000. The active cases comprise 0.22% of the total infections, while the national COVID-19 recovery rate now stands at 98.59% as the latest. PM Modi will visit Haryana and Punjab on August the 24th. First, the Prime Minister will inaugurate Amrita Hospital in Haryana's Faridabad, and after that the PM will travel to Punjab's Mohali and inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre at Mullanpur. The police removed posters of Veer Savarkar put up by unknown persons at the Congress Party office in Karnataka's Vijayapura. The police have increased security in the area as well. The move comes amid a row over remarks by Siddaramaiah, the leader of the opposition in the State Assembly and also the former Chief Minister, on the ongoing Savarkar poster row in Shivamogga. The Kerala High Court has stayed the appointment of Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan's private secretary KK Ragesh's wife Priya Varghese as an associate professor at Kannur University till August the 31st. Earlier, the Kerala Governor Arif Muhammad Khan had said that he would order a full-fledged investigation into allegations of nepotism in the appointment to various posts in universities in the state. Chief Minister of Puducherry Rangasamy, who also holds the finance portfolio, presented the budget for the Union Territory with the budget size pegged at 10,696 crore rupees. It was after a long delay that the budget was approved finally. A special court in Mumbai extended the judicial custody of Shiv Sena Member of Parliament Sanjay Raut till September the 5th in a money laundering case linked to alleged irregularities in the redevelopment of the Patra Chawl. India's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka handed over 21,000 tons of fertilizer supplies under India's special support to the people of the island nation. This follows 44,000 tons supplied last month, totaling an estimated value of about $4 billion. The controversial Dr. Anthony Fauci, America's top infectious diseases expert, who has been at the head of the US National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases for decades and who serves as President Joe Biden's chief medical advisor, has said that he will be retiring at the end of this year. The clock is ticking on the water supply for Las Vegas and New Mexico as very less drinking water is set to remain for the people of the cities. According to officials, firefighters are struggling to remove charred trees and other debris that have been washing down the mountainsides in the wake of the largest wildfire in New Mexico's recorded history, which has eventually choked rivers and streams.
Precedented 1,200-year drought, combination of high winds, extreme dryness, and a winter where there was not very much snow, big piles of wood that had been burned to try to clear the debris from the clearing project actually reignited into a fire, which is unique. Doesn't really happen very much, largely probably a result of the extreme 1,200-year drought, dry conditions. Turned into a big fire. We had extreme wind for months, extreme dryness, heat, and became a fire that really spread a long ways and was catastrophic.
According to the German government, several substances seem to have contributed to the massive die-off of fish in the Oder River that forms much of the country's border with Poland. They further stated that the spokesperson for the Environment Ministry also rejected suggestions by a senior Polish official that Germany was spreading false news about pesticides being behind the environmental disaster. As of now, Poland's government is still trying to track down the cause of the fishes dying in the river en masse. One of the US Navy's largest warships, the USS Kearsarge, has finally arrived at Klaipėda in Lithuania. According to the US Navy, it has anchored at the port for a scheduled port visit. The US ambassador said that the presence of the warship was an embodiment of strength in the region.
The U.S. committed at the Madrid summit by President Biden to enhance our security contributions in the Baltic region and across Europe. Our commitment and NATO's commitment is not only about land territory, but it's also about the Baltic Sea, which is an essential corridor for energy, for commerce, for shipping, and for defense.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Montreal, and the two leaders discussed investment and partnership opportunities focused on critical minerals and the automotive sector. According to officials, the leaders will tour an artificial intelligence institute now before they leave for Toronto. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited an area that has been affected by one of the country's most devastating forest fires in the Valencia region. Sanchez spoke to the firefighters, military personnel, and local politicians during his visit and announced that his coalition government would approve the declaration of all the areas affected by forest fires, thereby facilitating financial help to them. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is expected to travel to India on September 5th on a 3-day official visit, during which defense cooperation and regional stability are likely to be the focus of her talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Apart from pending and routine bilateral issues, defense cooperation and stability in South Asia are likely to feature during the talks between the two premiers, along with the economic crisis in Sri Lanka and the Russia-Ukraine war. The Islamabad High Court has granted anticipatory bail to Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan till August the 25th after he was booked under the Anti-Terrorism Act for threatening an additional sessions judge and senior police officers of the Islamabad police at a rally in Islamabad. The Russian city of Ryazan, 100 miles southeast of Moscow, has been inundated with smog as forest fires in the surrounding region have ballooned in size over the past 2 days. At least 2 rural settlements had to be evacuated as fires crept up to the people's property, while nearly the entire regional fighting force had to be mobilized. Russia's defense minister Sergei Shoigu said that Russia has used its hypersonic Kinzhal missile system 3 times in Ukraine to hit highly important targets. Russia claims the missile system has a range of 2,000 kilometers and can maneuver during flight to evade radar detection and air defense systems. Ramesh Babu Praggnanandhaa, the 17-year-old Indian chess grandmaster and prodigy, defeated the world champion Magnus Carlsen in the last round of the FTX Crypto Cup in Miami. Praggnanandhaa has made something of a habit of beating Carlsen, having first accomplished the feat aged just 16. Ahead of Casemiro's transfer to Manchester United, Real Madrid president Florentino Perez gave an emotional farewell to the star player and said that Real Madrid is very proud of the history that Casemiro made while playing at the club. At a special press conference, Perez hailed the Brazilian as one of the club's greatest role models and a legend of the Spanish side. Alexander Zverev has withdrawn from the US Open as he has still not recovered after tearing his ankle ligaments in the semi-finals of the French Open. According to sources, the treatment will take time as his injury requires surgery. India outplayed Zimbabwe comprehensively in the final match of the ODI series to register a 13-run victory at the Harare Sports Club. They thereby clinched the three-match series 3-0. Sikandar Raza's crucial knock of 115 runs went in vain as Zimbabwe failed to stop India from completing the sweep.
Why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees become 2,000 crores for the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being answered. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scanner. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scanner, Karthik. You should be able to speak about it, Karthik.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
You're watching This Morning on Republic, and the flagship of the US 22nd Marine Expeditionary Force, the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship USS Kearsarge, arrived in Klaipeda for what the US Navy said was a scheduled port visit. Here's more.
The flagship of US Navy's largest warships have arrived in Lithuania on Monday. The flagship of the US 22nd Marine Expeditionary Force, the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship USS Kearsarge, arrived in Klaipeda for what the US said was a scheduled port visit. US Ambassador Robert S. Gilchrist said that the warship's presence was an embodiment of strength and reach and lethality of the US military.
Is a demonstration of the U.S. committed at the Madrid summit by President Biden to enhance our security contributions in the Baltic region and across Europe. Our commitment and NATO's commitment is not only about land territory, but it's also about the Baltic Sea, which is an essential corridor for energy, for commerce, for shipping, and for defense.
Every Baltic country has something powerful to contribute, Captain Thomas F. Foster, commander of the USS Kearsarge, said.
It's important to recognize that every Baltic country has something powerful to contribute, and when they do, our unified strength is simply unmatched. Lithuania and the U.S. have been allies for many, many years, and this scheduled port visit is a demonstration of those bonds we've shared ever since.
Lithuania is one of the 3 Baltic states that are among NATO allies and particularly concerned about possible Russian designs on forcefully returning them to Moscow's rule. The presence of the Kearsarge amphibious in the Baltic countries demonstrates the United States' commitment to regional allies and partners, the US statement said. Agency report, Republic TV.
You're watching Republic TV. This morning, ex-Punjab Minister Bharat Bhushan Ashu held over scam in awarding contract for food grain transport. All the news on this and more coming up next.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. India #1 is not equal to making liquor mafia #1. The nation is talking tonight about #LiquorGate, the LiquorGate scam which helped the liquor mafia.
Indian Army never leaves behind any one of them. When the Operation Meghdoot started, there were several of the soldiers which went missing in action because of the avalanche. 38 years later, during a patrol party at Shankar Top, they essentially came across the mortal remains of Lance Naik Chandrasekhar of 19 Kumaon.
Top headlines this morning. Ex-Punjab Minister Bharat Bhushan Ashu held over scam in awarding contract for food grain transport. K. Kavita to file a defamation case against Delhi BJP leaders MP Parvesh Verma and former MLA Manjinder Singh Sirsa. MHA suspends 2 IAS officers who were the Excise Commissioner and Deputy Excise Commissioner when Delhi liquor policy in question was in place. Terrorists detained by Russian FSB who plotted to target Indian leadership in an Uzbek national train in Turkey. Dr. Anthony Fauci to retire from the federal government in December. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in this Tuesday morning. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Lots lined up for you in this edition. Straight up, starting with a top focus. As the political mudslinging over the liquor gate continues, the Ministry of Home Affairs has now suspended 2 IAS officers, the then Excise Commissioner as well as the Deputy Excise Commissioner when the old liquor policy was still in place. Here's how the investigation and the political fight over it has played out so far.
As the CBI investigation into the liquor gate continues and as the ED prepares to step in, the Ministry of Home Affairs has taken action on the matter. The MHA has suspended 2 IAS officers who were the Excise Commissioner and Deputy Excise Commissioner when the liquor policy in question was in place. But as the investigation picks up steam, the political fight over the CBI action refuses to die down. The Delhi Chief Minister perpetually comes in defense of his ministers.
मैंने सत्येंद्र जैन के मामले के सारे कागज देखे हैं। केस बिल्कुल फर्जी है।
जिस व्यक्ति ने 5 साल के अंदर करिश्मा करके दिखा दिया, मौजूदा रवायती पार्टियां 70 साल में जो काम नहीं कर पाई और जिस व्यक्ति ने वो काम करके दिखा दिया कि सरकारी स्कूलों को शानदार बना दिया, इस देश के गरीब बच्चों को भविष्य दे दिया, उस व्यक्ति पे सीबीआई की रेड कराते हो तुम लोग? शर्म नहीं आती तुम लोगों को? और फिर ये अनर्गल बातें कर रहे हो। ऐसे व्यक्ति को तो भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए।
While justifying the now revoked Delhi excise policy, Kejriwal said he had to withdraw it unwillingly.
850 दुकानें खुलनी थी दिल्ली के अंदर, एक एक करके 350 दुकानें खुल पाई, 500 दुकानें नहीं खुल पाई। जिस तरह से केंद्र सरकार और सारी एजेंसीज दबाव डाल रही थी हमारे अफसरों के ऊपर, अफसरों ने उस पॉलिसी के तहत नई दुकानें का ठेका करना, नीलामी करने के लिए मना कर दिया। वो पॉलिसी बहुत अच्छी है, हम किसी के साथ भी डिबेट करने के लिए तैयार हैं। हमारे पास ऑप्शन नहीं थी, अगर हम वो नहीं करते सारी दुकानें बंद हो जाती और वहां पे नकली दारू बिकनी चालू हो जाती, जैसे आज गुजरात के अंदर है।
Meanwhile, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia made an explosive claim saying that BJP offered him the post of Chief Minister.
बीजेपी ज्वाइन करके, पार्टी तोड़ के बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लीजिए और हम आपको सीएम बना देंगे।
The Aam Aadmi Party claimed that they have audio proof of the same, backing Sisodia's claim.
दिल्ली के उप मुख्यमंत्री ने यह खुलासा किया कि उनके ऊपर जो सीबीआई की ईडी की धरपकड़ हो रही है उससे संबंधित उनको एक मैसेज आया है भारतीय जनता पार्टी से। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने कहा है आप भाजपा में आ जाइए, आपके सारे केस हम सुलट लेंगे।
We have recently seen this is exactly what happened in Maharashtra, where many cases were filed with the CB, with the CBI, with the ED, or many of the people, the MLAs in the ruling coalition. And then on the other hand, using that as a threat, many of them were asked to break away and form a new government. This is exactly what the BJP is trying in Delhi. They offered to Mr. Manish Sisodia that if he was to join the BJP, number one, all places would be closed, and number two, that they would make him the Chief Minister of Delhi.
But the BJP is not backing down. After the massive claims made by the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, the BJP has asked them to release the audio tape and make the name of the leader public who made an offer to Manish Sisodia. But will the Aam Aadmi Party, which till now has been crying vendetta politics, come out with proof? Or is this just another way to deflect from the core issue? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Meanwhile, the latest what we understand is that the Telangana Chief Minister KCR's daughter and member of Legislative Council K. Kavita has denied having any link to the liquor scam. She's said that she will be filing a defamation suit against the BJP leaders.
Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's daughter and member of Legislative Council K. Kavita has denied having any link to the Delhi liquor scam.
Today I want to make it very, very clear that the allegations that are made on me by BJP party and their party people are completely baseless. The Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to malign the reputation of our family. I just want to say this to the nation today. We are the family of fighters. We fought for Telangana. We were on the streets. We were with the people. We never go back in a fight.
Kavita said she will also move court seeking an injunction against those making the allegations. She added that she will file a defamation case against Delhi BJP leaders MP Parvesh Verma and former MLA Manjinder Singh Sirsa for their allegations that she acted as a mediator between the liquor mafia and the Aam Aadmi Party government. The BJP had alleged that a bribe of crores of rupees was given to Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia to increase the commission from 2.5% to 12% under the Delhi government's revamped liquor policy. Accusing Sisodia of holding meetings with the Telangana leader, the BJP sought an answer from him on the same. BJP leaders Parvesh Verma and Manjinder Singh Sirsa in a press conference had alleged that KCR's daughter K. Kavita had links in the Delhi liquor scam.
मनीष सिसोदिया ये बताएं कि क्या उन्होंने जो तेलंगाना के मुख्यमंत्री हैं केसीआर उनके परिवार के लोगों के साथ में मीटिंग करी या नहीं करी, उनके परिवार के लोगों के साथ में ओबराय होटल में आप मिले या नहीं मिले, इस बात का मनीष सिसोदिया जवाब दे.
The BJP leaders said that several meetings were held between the liquor mafia, ministers and officers to make the excise policy in line with them. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And on to some breaking news coming in. This one from the national capital where a shooting incident has been reported. We are told that unidentified persons opened fire in the JJ colony area in the national capital. In fact, we are told that 2 people were killed in this particular incident that has come to light. So 3 people were shot at, 2 have succumbed to the injuries. And this incident coming to light from the national capital, reported from the JJ colony area of the national capital. We are told that 3 people were shot at, 2 meanwhile have succumbed to the injuries, whereas 1 is undergoing treatment. So another shocking incident coming to light from the national capital. We'll also play out the bite as well of the deceased's brother as well. Let's listen in.
मेरी वाइफ का फ़ोन आया था कि ऐसे ऐसे बड़े भाई को गोली लग गई है। तो सर मैं यहाँ पे आया, जब देखा तो छोटा वाला जो मेरे से बड़ा भाई है वो लेके जा रहा था स्कूटी पे उसको हॉस्पिटल। तो हमें तो यहाँ इन्होंने जो पड़ोसी थे इन्होंने बताया कि 2 लोग आए थे नकाब पहन के, बुक्का बांध के आए थे और उन्होंने फायरिंग करी है अंदर। यहाँ पर भाई यहाँ बैठे थे, 2 साथ में लड़के बुजुर्ग आदमी थे, एक का नाम मंगल था और एक का नाम मोहन। वो साथ बैठे थे, टीवी देख रहे थे, उनके गोली मारी है उनको भी। और एक एक्सपायर उसमें डेड हो गई है इसकी, मंगल जी की, और एक सीरियस है। और हमारे भाई हैं वो भी एक्सपायर हो चुके हैं।
2 डेड हुए हैं। पुलिस वालों से क्या पता चला कितने लोग घायल हैं, कितने डेड?
जी पुलिस जी तो यही कह रहे कि हाँ 2 एक्सपायर के हमारे भाई एक हो गए हैं और एक मंगल जी, और एक वो सीरियस है, उनकी बताइए।
अच्छा, जो आपका जोगिंदर है,
हाँ जी,
उन पे ये अटैक हुआ है, आज से पहले कभी कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा?
नहीं, कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा नहीं है, कोई रंजिश की कोई कॉल नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है। वो बिल्कुल सीधे साधे आदमी थे, कोई किसी से मतलब नहीं रखते थे, अपने खुश रहते थे, अलग रहते थे बिल्कुल अपने, कोई किसी से कोई भेदभाव नहीं किसी चीज़ का। जी वो पहले पुराने कपड़ों काम करते थे, कुछ टाइम से वो खाली बैठे हैं।
जोगिंदर जी के परिवार में कौन कौन है?
जोगिंदर जी के परिवार में उनके 2 बेटे हैं, एक वाइफ है और एक लड़की थी, उनकी शादी कर दी है। और भाई वगैरह हम 4 भाई थे और चारों भाई हम यहीं रहते हैं इसी कॉलोनी में। और मम्मी वगैरह, पापा भी एक्सपायर हो चुके हैं, मम्मी भी यहीं रहती है हमारी।
पुलिस का इन्वेस्टिगेशन मैटर है, कहीं आपको शक है?
नहीं, अभी तक तो हमें यही लगा कि पुलिस हमारे साथ है और उन्होंने हमें हर चीज़ का सहयोग करा है हमारे साथ। जो भी उनको हमने डिटेल देनी थी वो हमने दी है उनको जानकारी जो चाहिए थी हमने सारी जानकारी बताई है।
So, incident being reported from the national capital. It's the JJ Colony area where this incident happened, where the miscreants opened fire. 2 people have succumbed to the injuries, whereas the 3rd person is still recuperating. So, the police has launched a probe into this matter. Remains to be seen the cause for this incident, and more details are awaited. Moving on to more breaking news coming in. And we are told that the Lakshadweep BJP leader has now been booked for insulting the Tiranga. BJP General Secretary Mohammad Kashim HK is accused of sharing pictures of holding the national flag upside down along with his wife on social media. So Lakshadweep, the news coming in from Lakshadweep, where BJP leader has been booked for insulting the tricolor. In fact, what we understand so far is that he'd taken to social media to post a picture of him as well as his wife holding the tricolor upside down, as a result of which he's been booked for insulting the tricolor and is now been booked by the police. So case has been registered against BJP General Secretary Mohammad Kashim HK, who's accused of insulting the tricolor as he took to social media to share pictures of the tricolor holding it upside down. That's the picture on your screens as well, in which you can see the BJP leader holding the tricolor upside down, and he's now been booked for insulting the Tiranga. So in this visual also that is coming to light, you can see how the BJP leader, he is identified as BJP leader Mohammad Kashim HK, who's now been booked for insulting the tricolor. And a roundup of news in brief. In case of grenade attack in Badgam, the Kashmir police has arrested 2 more hybrid terrorists of prescribed outfit LET who were involved in the grenade attack on minorities. According to the police, incriminating material of LET has also been recovered from these terrorists. Chennai Air Customs officials seized 2.5 kgs of gold estimated to be worth 1.14 crore rupees at Chennai Airport in a series of cases since 18th of August. The officials also said that around 420 grams of gold from postal parcel of foreign postal office has been seized. According to senior BJP leader, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has asked popular actor Junior NTR to take the political plunge and asked the latter in a quote to think it over. The meet created a buzz all over that if such a move, fructifies, could alter the political equations both in Andhra and Telangana. Prime Minister Modi will visit Haryana and Punjab on 24th of August, which is Wednesday. First, the Prime Minister will inaugurate the Amrita Hospital at Haryana's Faridabad, and post that, the Prime Minister will be travelling to Punjab's Mohali to inaugurate Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre at Mulanpur. Defence Mantri Rajnath Singh will be visiting Tashkent from starting today, that is from the 23rd till the 25th of August, to attend the annual meeting of the Defence Ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organisation member states. During this annual meet, defence cooperation issues will be discussed, and is expected that a joint statement will also be issued following the deliberations. And on to more breaking news coming in on a big crackdown on Maoists. We are told 500 Maoist sympathizers and supporters from the Religara Panchayat surrendered before the Malkangiri police and BSF. They raised Mobadi. In fact, they were seen raising some slogans as well, and expressed their opposition towards the Maoist ideology by burning their effigies and vandalizing martyr pillars, is from what we understand. In fact, the visuals on your screens in which 500 Maoist supporters were seen surrendering before the BSF. Slipping into a very short break. Do not go anywhere. Lots lined up for you on the other side of this very short break. Terrorist detained by Russian FSB who plotted to target Indian leadership is an Uzbek national trained in Turkey. And Dr. Anthony Fauci to retire from the federal government in US in December.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
मनीष सिसोदिया के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, केजरीवाल के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, और अब तीसरा पुतला सत्येंद्र जैन के रूप में उसको भी आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। ये बैरिकेड तोड़ने की कोशिश कार्यकर्ताओं की तरफ स्वदेश गुप्ता जो बैरिकेड के ऊपर चढ़ गए हैं और बैरिकेड को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल इस्तीफा दो के नारे, लगातार पोस्टर, और यही मांग की जा रही है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल मनीष सिसोदिया को बर्खास्त करें, सत्येंद्र जैन को बर्खास्त कर दें। कैबिनेट में दोनों बने हुए हैं।
We are right now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of the strong actions those are being taken.
Elections will be held and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election. All associations across India will have a representation, which means it is as democratic as it can get in Indian football. The Supreme Court has said the decisions taken to dissolve the COA of the AIFF has been done keeping the interest of India and Indian football in mind, which means they want the World Cup to be held in India at any cost.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a Central Asian country, was hired in Turkey, was tasked with bombing an Indian leadership elite, was headed to India, arrested by Russia.
Was coming to India after having been indoctrinated, trained to carry out a suicide bombing. It's perhaps for the first time that an international operation of this kind has unraveled. about enforcement directive. How did 50 lakh rupees became 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scandal. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scandal, Kartik. You should be able to speak about it, Kartik.
And more breaking news coming in, this one in relation to the cattle smuggling scam. We are told that more rice mills in Birbhum are under the scanner of the Central Investigation Agency. We are told that, remember yesterday the CBI also raided the second rice mill, which is owned by a close kin of the TMC MLA Anubrata Mondal, and what we understand is that more rice mills in Birbhum are under the scanner of the CBI. In fact, in total, 16 such rice mills are in CBI scanner. 12 of these are in Birbhum. Rest are outside Birbhum. We have Kishle joining us live to get us more details from the Bangla newsroom. Kishle, if you could give us more details, we understand that more rice mills are under the scanner of the CBI.
Well, Samiksha, in the first phase of the investigation, we saw that how CBI was raiding multiple properties that were being owned by Onubroto Mondal or his kins or his family members. But now we see in the second phase of the investigation, CBI is raiding multiple rice mills and granaries that are owned by close relatives and aides of Onubroto Mondal. The first rice mill that was raided was Bombhole rice mill, which is in Birbhum district itself. Yesterday we saw CBI team reached the second rice mill, the Ship Shambhu rice mill, and CBI team raided the whole rice mill and also collected some documents and searched the whole rice mill. The rice mills, all these rice mills, CBI believes, according to sources, were used as storages, that the storages of the money that was earned from this whole cattle smuggling business. Also, these rice mills were used as points or places to do strategic meetings about the whole nexus of cattle smuggling. 16 such rice mills are under CBI scanner. 12 of these are inside Birbhum district where Onubroto Mondal stays, and rest are outside the Birbhum district, but districts which are very close. So all these 16 rice mills are under CBI scanner, and CBI is trying to understand that what connection all these rice mills and what role all the people working in these rice mills played in this whole cattle smuggling business. Also yesterday we saw that how one of the apartments of Saigal Hussain, who is already arrested by CBI, Onubroto Mondal's bodyguard, who used to run the whole business in the name of Onubroto, like he used to work as the person who used to collect money from the cattle smugglers and give to Onubroto Mondal. That person's apartment was raided by CBI in the evening, and CBI, we believe, according to our sources, got some crucial information along with some documents from that apartment. 24th August, tomorrow, CBI will produce Onubroto Mondal again in the court, and we believe that all these documents may be produced so that CBI gets custody of Onubroto Mondal for more number of days, and we are already looking at it. Samiksha.
All right, Kishle, thank you for the moment. So all eyes will be on Anubrata Mondal, who will be produced before the court tomorrow. And moving on to more breaking news coming in, this one on the Patra Chaul scam case. Details coming in that the ED has today summoned Swapna Patkar, who is a witness in the Patra Chaul scam case, for interrogation. Remember, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut is in judicial custody till the 5th of September in connection with the Patra Chaul scam case. So today the ED will be interrogating Swapna Patkar, who is a witness in this case, as it has issued summons to Swapna Patkar. So closely tracking all the updates on that. Alicia reporting live from Mumbai. Alicia, if you could give us more details. All eyes will be on the interrogation that will happen today of Swapna Patkar in connection with this case.
Well, yes, in Patra Chaul case, where it's very important to record a statement of Swapna Patkar, because we know that there are many of the properties that belongs to Varsha Raut and Swapna Patkar. It's a joint properties in Alibag, which belongs to Swapna Patkar and Varsha Raut, who is the wife of Sanjay Raut. Well, many revelations also has come earlier when Sapna Patkar was interrogated by enforcement directorate in the same case, and she was the one who made many of the revelations before the agency, clearly mentioning that it was Sanjay Raut and his wife Varsha Raut who took many of the property in her name, but that actually belongs to Sanjay Raut and Varsha Raut, but also the beneficiary, all those investment was done by the Praveen Raut. So she has made many of the revelations, and many of the documents has also been submitted before the enforcement directorate, which actually made Sanjay Raut to put behind the bars. But today even enforcement directorate might have found some of the more evidence, after which Sapna Patkar has been called in again for the questioning. She has been asked to appear before the agency.
Well, Alicia, we'll have to leave it at that. We'll come back to you in just some time. But Alicia, they're getting us all those details on the Patra Chaul scam case. Well, this morning, coming up on the other side, shelling continues at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, with attacks reported 3 times within a night. Serbian Internal Affairs Minister calls for sanctions on Russia, a case of EU hysteria.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a Central Asian country, was hired in Turkey, was tasked with bombing an Indian leadership elite, was headed to India, arrested by Russia.
Was coming to India after having been indoctrinated, trained to carry out a suicide bombing. It's perhaps for the first time that an international operation of this kind has unraveled.
Why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees become 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scandal. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scandal, Kartik. You should be able to speak about it, Kartik.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
मनीष सिसोदिया के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, केजरीवाल के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, और अब तीसरा पुतला सत्येंद्र जैन के रूप में उसको भी आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। ये बैरिकेड तोड़ने की कोशिश कार्यकर्ताओं की तरफ स्वदेश गुप्ता जो बैरिकेड के ऊपर चढ़ गए हैं और बैरिकेड को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल इस्तीफा दो के नारे, लगातार पोस्टर, और यही मांग की जा रही है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल मनीष सिसोदिया को बर्खास्त करें, सत्येंद्र जैन को बर्खास्त कर दें। कैबिनेट में दोनों बने हुए हैं।
We are right now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of the strong actions those are being taken.
Elections will be held and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election.
Headlines in World this morning: the terrorist detained by Russian FSB who plotted to target Indian leadership is an Uzbek national trained in Turkey. Dr. Anthony Fauci announces retirement from federal government in December. Two US B-52 bombers fly over South European countries as a show of support to NATO allies. German Chancellor assures efforts to reduce Canada's dependency on Russian oil. Shelling continues at the Zaporizhia nuclear plant with attacks reported 3 times within a night. Serbian Internal Affairs Minister calls sanctions on Russia a case of EU hysteria. Egypt's president hosts regional leaders amid a possible resolution to Iran's nuclear deal. Hello and welcome to World This Morning on Republic. The top stories from across the globe making headlines at this hour. I'm Rukma with you. Let's begin with our top story. The chilling confession tape of an ISIS suicide bomber who was nabbed by Russian authorities has set alarm bells ringing. We get you exclusive details of how the terror plot happened and how the Uzbek terrorists plan to target top leaders in India. Here's a report.
The detaining of an ISIS suicide bomber by Russia's Federal Security Service, the FSB, has raised alarm bells in India after it was revealed that the jihadi terrorist planned to attack top BJP leaders. But who did the jihadi terrorist plan to assassinate, and how was he indoctrinated? It is now learned that the terrorist is a citizen of Uzbekistan who was recruited and trained in Turkey, then went to Russia, and from there he was to fly to India. Republic TV has accessed the jihadi terrorist's chilling confession video, detailing how he planned to carry out the attack in India.
В 2022 году приходил специальную подготовку в Турцию. В 2022 году по указанию Юсуф Таджика я летел в Россию.
Authorities in India are working on leads received from Russia. They are probing whether the terror network within Pakistan and sleeper cells was indeed facilitating the ISIS bomber to carry out a terror attack in India. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And in Pakistan, an Islamabad High Court has granted anticipatory bail to Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan till August 25th, after he was booked under the Anti-Terrorism Act for threatening an additional sessions judge and senior police officers of the Islamabad police at a rally in Islamabad.
The Islamabad High Court has granted pre-arrest bail to Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan till August 25. This happened after he was booked under the Anti-Terrorism Act for threatening an additional sessions judge and senior police officers of the Islamabad police at rally in the federal capital's F9 Park. The grant prevents the police from arresting him over the charges.
प्रोटेक्टिव ट्रांजिट बेल के लिए और डबल बेंच ने खान साहब का केस सुना और उनको जुमेरात तक की ट्रांजिट प्रोटेक्टिव बेल उन्होंने अलाउ कर दी है और उसके बाद इंशाल्लाह पहली ही फुर्सत में जो एंटी टेररिस्ट कोर्ट है उसमें पेश होंगे.
Earlier, Pakistani police filed terrorism charges against Khan, escalating political tensions in the country as the ousted premier holds mass rallies seeking to return to office.
जो उन्होंने दफात लगाई हैं 788, वो इसमें जो वकला थे पीटीआई के, उनका ये मौक़िफ़ ये था कि ये जो सेक्शन है दहशतगर्दी एक्ट की ये अट्रैक्ट नहीं करती है, बाकी प्रोसिक्यूशन साइड से उनका ये मौक़िफ़ था जी कि ये अट्रैक्ट करती है। आगे जाके जो केस होगा, फर्दर जो बेल होगी, ये ज़मानत करवाएंगे तो ज़मानत का जो मेरिट के ऊपर जो फैसला होगा वो इनका जो मौक़िफ़ ये है कि ये दहशतगर्दी की जो दफ़ात हैं वो अट्रैक्ट नहीं करती हैं।
While Khan has yet not publicly spoken about the latest charges against him, hundreds of Tehreek-e-Insaf members stood outside Khan's home to show support and prevent his arrest on anti-terror charges.
Also, it is the public reaction because no military, no agencies, no police, no paramilitary forces, no one can stand against the people of a country. We are the strength of our forces, we are the strength of our law enforcing agencies as well. They cannot stand up against 220 million people of Pakistan.
Notably, the party has warned that it will hold nationwide rallies if Khan is arrested while working to try to squash the charges in court. Under Pakistan's legal system, police files a report first, which is also called as the first information report, about the charges against an accused person to a magistrate judge who allows the investigation to move forward, and then the police arrests and questions the accused. Meanwhile, if proven guilty, Khan could face several years in prison from the new charges, which accuse him of threatening police officers and a judge under the country's Sedition Act, which stems from British colonial era law. Agency report, Republic TV.
The exhibit, Testament to Bucha, was initiated by two Ukrainians who at the time of the assault were part of the territorial defense of their home country. 4 women died in the attack in their car, according to the exhibit's moderator, who said they were shot at, bombed out and burned alive. They did nothing else but to look for a place where they could live in peace. Here's more.
2 Ukrainians have set up an exhibition in the center of Berlin, showcasing a burned-out, bullet-riddled car from a town outside the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, where hundreds of civilians were found dead after Russia withdrew from the area in the late March. The capital was brought to Berlin from Bucha by 2 soldiers from Ukraine's Territorial Defense Force.
Now I'm staying in the center of Berlin, and behind me you can find relict. It's like a small piece of war we have in Ukraine, and this is the car from Bucha.
Ukraine's ambassador to Germany, Milink, was at the inauguration of the exhibition and said that the installation was a legacy, a testament that this war has not diminished in its brutality.
It was not a problem for me to visit Bucha's car cemetery and just to take some car with tragic story.
The civilian killings at Bucha have become a symbol of the brutality of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Municipal authorities say 458 bodies have been found in the Bucha area after the 33-day Russian occupation. They include 12 bodies of children, in most cases killed with their parents. Estonia, Finland and other EU countries bordering Russia have now been pushing for an EU-wide ban on Russian tourists. But some leaders, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, have dismissed the idea as counterproductive. Agency report, Republic TV.
The flagship of the US 22nd Marine Expeditionary Force, the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship USS Kearsarge, arrived in Klaipėda in Lithuania for what the US Navy said was a scheduled port visit. Here's a report.
The flagship of US Navy's largest warships have arrived in Lithuania on Monday. The flagship of the US 22nd Marine Expeditionary Force, the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship USS Kearsarge, arrived in Klaipėda for what the US said was a scheduled port visit. US Ambassador Robert S. Gilchrist said that the warship's presence was an embodiment of strength and reach and lethality of the US military.
As a demonstration of the U.S. committed at the Madrid summit by President Biden to enhance our security contributions in the Baltic region and across Europe. Our commitment and NATO's commitment is not only about land territory, but it's also about the Baltic Sea, which is an essential corridor for energy, for commerce, for shipping, and for defense.
Every Baltic country has something powerful to contribute, Captain Thomas F. Foster, commander of the USS Kearsarge, said.
It's important to recognize that every Baltic country has something powerful to contribute, and when they do, our unified strength is simply unmatched. Lithuania and the U.S. have been allies for many, many years, and this scheduled port visit is a demonstration of those bonds we've shared ever since.
Lithuania is one of the 3 Baltic states that are among NATO allies and particularly concerned about possible Russian designs on forcefully returning them to Moscow's rule. The presence of the Kearsarge amphibious in the Baltic countries demonstrates the United States' commitment to regional allies and partners, the US statement said. Agency report, Republic TV.
And a quick look at other international news from across the world. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Montreal, and the two leaders discussed investments and partnership opportunities focused on the critical minerals and automotive sectors. According to officials, the leaders will tour an artificial intelligence institute before they leave for Toronto. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited an area that has been affected by one of the country's most devastating forest fires in the Valencia region. Sanchez spoke to the firefighters, military personnel and local politicians during his visit and announced that his coalition government would approve the declaration of all the areas affected by forest fires, facilitating financial help to them. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina expected to travel to India on September 5th on a 3-day official visit, during which defense cooperation and regional stability is likely to be the focus of talks with Prime Minister Modi. Apart from pending and routine bilateral issues, defense cooperation and stability in South Asia are likely to feature during the talks between the two premiers, along with the economic crisis in Sri Lanka and the Russia-Ukraine war. Firefighters tackled forest fires in Thessaloniki with the help of specially adapted helicopters provided. According to sources, helicopters dropped water over affected areas to help firefighters in the battle to extinguish the flames. One of the U.S. Navy's largest warships, the USS Kearsarge, has finally arrived at Klaipėda in Lithuania. According to the U.S. Navy, it has anchored at the port for a scheduled port visit. The U.S. ambassador has said that the presence of the warship was an embodiment of strength. And coming up in a short while, German Chancellor assures efforts to reduce Canada's dependence on Russian oil. Also coming up in World This Morning, shelling continues at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, with attacks reported 3 times within a night.
We are right now showing you the pictures of this flag march, which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of the strong actions those are being taken.
elections will be held, and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election. All associations across India will have a representation, which means it is as democratic as it can get in Indian football. The Supreme Court has said the decisions taken to dissolve the COA of the AIFF has been done keeping the interest of India and Indian football in mind, which means they want the World Cup to be held in India at any cost.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a Central Asian country, was hired in Turkey, was tasked with bombing an Indian leadership elite, was headed to India, arrested by Russia.
Was coming to India after having been indoctrinated, trained to carry out a suicide bombing. It's perhaps for the first time that an international operation of this kind has unraveled.
Karthi, why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees became 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scandal. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scandal, Karthi. You should be able to speak about it, Karthi.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को
You're watching The World This Morning on Republic, and Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious disease expert in the United States who became a household name during the COVID-19 pandemic, announced on Monday that he will step down in December for the next chapter of his career. Fauci, 81, has been the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases Director since 1984 and the Chief Medical Advisor to the US President Joe Biden. Here's more.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, America's top infectious diseases expert who became a household name and the subject of partisan attacks during the COVID-19 pandemic, has announced on Monday that he will depart the federal government in December after more than 5 decades of service. Fauci, who serves as the president's Chief Medical Advisor, has been the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and chief of the NIAID Laboratory of Immunoregulation. He was a leader in the federal response to HIV/AIDS and other infectious diseases even before the coronavirus hit. Fauci became the face of the US government's response to COVID-19 as it hit in early 2020, with frequent appearances on television news and at daily press conferences with White House officials, including then-President Donald Trump. But as the pandemic deepened, Fauci fell out of favor with Trump and his officials when his urgings of continued public caution clashed with the former president's desire to return to normalcy and promote unproven therapies for the virus. He was also the subject of political attacks and death threats and was granted a security detail for his protection. When Joe Biden won the White House, he asked Fauci to stay on in his administration in an elevated capacity. Fauci did say that despite retiring from federal service, he plans to continue working. Agency report, Republic TV.
The Azov Regiment fighters released from Russian captivity denied on Monday Russian reports about alleged Daria Dugina's killer being part of the unit, but talked about how they were treated in Russian captivity. Here are the details.
The Azov Regiment fighters released from Russian captivity have denied Russian reports about Daria Dugina's alleged killer being part of the unit. Russia's top counterintelligence agency blamed Ukrainian spy agencies for organizing the killer of the daughter of Russian nationalist ideologue Alexander Dugin. Russia's Federal Security Service, the FSB, the main KGB successor agency, said that the killing of Dugina has been prepared and perpetrated by the Ukrainian Special Services. An Azov fighter explained that Volk is a soldier of the National Guard of Ukraine, military unit 3057, and does not belong to the regiment.
Ця жінка, вона у парадній формі Національної гвардії. І це написано у неї там в цьому службовому посвідченні, що це боєць Національної гвардії України військової частини 3057. До військової частини 3057 відноситься окремий загін спеціального призначення Азов. Відноситься. Але не всі, хто служить у військовій частині 3057, є бійцями ОЗСП Азову. І ця жінка не є бійцем полку Азов.
It said that the killing was perpetrated by a Ukrainian citizen who left Russia for Estonia after the killing. The FSB said that the suspect, Natalia Vovk, rented an apartment in the building where Dugina lived and shadowed her. Vovk and her daughter were at a nationalist festival which Alexander Dugin and his daughter attended just before the killing. The agency also released security surveillance footage of the alleged killer along with her military ID, claiming her to belong to the Azov regiment.
Мені фактично все одно на цю особу, та в цілому мені все одно на її батька. Мені не все одно на тих людей, які приїхали сюди зі зброєю і винищили десятки тисяч мирних маріупольців. Це те, що я бачу своїми очима. Мені не все одно на тих, хто приїздив до Бучі, до Ірпіня і вбивав моїх співгромадян.
The released fighters also talked about the conditions in Russian captivity.
Нас виганяли на такий названий обиск і роздягали догола, де ми були роздіті під жарою, присідати заставляли. Хто піднімав голову з хлопців, то їх починали зразу бити. І на собі теж почувствував удари, мене теж під час допитів били. Хотіли, щоб я підписав там всякі показання проти свого командування.
Dugina was the daughter of Alexander Dugin, a Russian nationalist ideologue who was described by some in the West as Putin's brain. Agency report, Republic TV.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered condolences to Daria Dugina's family. He called her assassination a vile, cruel crime and stressed that Daria Dugina was a bright, talented person with a true Russian heart. Dugina, the daughter of Russian philosopher Alexander Dugin, died in a car explosion on Saturday. Here are the details.
The daughter of Russian nationalist ideologist, often called Putin's brain, was killed when her car exploded on the outskirts of Moscow. The Investigate Committee branch for the Moscow region said that the Saturday night blast was caused by a bomb planted in the SUV driven by Daria Dugina.
До настоящего времени на месте происшествия продолжают работу следователи и криминалисты Главного следственного управления СК России по Московской области совместно с коллегами из ГУК СК России, а также специалистами взрывотехники.
The 29-year-old was the daughter of Alexander Dugin, a prominent proponent of the Russian world concept, ideology, and a vehement supporter of Russia sending troops into Ukraine. Dugina expressed similar views and has been a commentator on nationalist TV channel. The explosion took place as Dugina was returning from a cultural festival that she had attended with her father. While Russian President Putin offered his condolences over the incident, the eyewitnesses recalled the horrific incident.
В это время, видно, взрыв был, крышу оторвало, ее, видно, выкинуло прямо вместе с крышей там, со всеми делами. Колеса как были повернуты, почему оттуда, и приехал вот к соседям к нашим. Я посмотрел, потому что как вот этот поворот такой, так она и ехала.
Notably, some reports cited witnesses as saying the vehicle belonged to her father and that she had decided at the last minute to leave in another car.
20 августа в районе половины 10 вечера я находилась на рабочем месте, услышала хлопок входной двери. Секунд через 30 я вышла и увидела возгорание машины на Можайском шоссе. Пока стояла на улице, наверное, проследовало еще 4 или 5 таких же хлопков.
Meanwhile, some call it an act of intimidation.
Для пропагандистского аппарата это акт устрашения. Для лоялистов, лояльного избирателя это акт такой символический, демонстрирующий, что боевые действия уверенно переносятся на территорию России. То есть
No suspects were immediately identified. However, Russia was held Ukraine responsible for Dugina's death. Ukraine, in its response, has mocked Russia's allegation. In a tweet, a senior Ukrainian official has issued the first response to the Russian security services accusation, calling out an intra-species fight initiated by Russia. And amid blames and counter-blames, the real perpetrator still remains unidentified. Agency report, Republic TV.
Well, that's all we have for you in World this morning. And joining us now is Nupur from our Mumbai studios for all the news in the Morning Express. A very good morning to you, Nupur.
Good morning, Rukma, and thank you very much for that. You are watching Republic TV, and still to come on the Morning Express, we get you the latest as far as the defamation case that's been filed by K. Kavita is concerned. And also up next, ex-Punjab Minister Bharat Bhushan Ashu is held over scam in awarding contract for food grain transport.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. India #1 is not equal to making liquor mafia #1. The nation is talking tonight about #LiquorGate, the LiquorGate scam which helped the liquor mafia under Kejriwal's watch make a huge windfall in Delhi. Kejriwal and Sisodia want to change the subject. They went to Gujarat hoping to change the agenda, with Kejriwal formally declaring himself as a challenger to Narendra Modi in 2024. But there in Gujarat too, his press conference was besieged with questions about #LiquorGate. And he called off the press conference with many reporters still asking questions on #LiquorGate. Fact is, Kejriwal is not going to be able, Sisodia is not going to be able to avoid the questions on LiquorGate. And I have questions too, 5 to start with tonight. 1. Kejriwal said today that he still believes in his liquor policy. In that case, why did he say that the liquor policy was leading to huge windfalls for the liquor mafia? Does Kejriwal support that too? Question number 2 on LiquorGate. Kejriwal said today in his press conference, shockingly, that he actually was very keen to open 550 more liquor shops across Delhi. Now, if each liquor shop sells 500 liquor bottles at the least, Mr. Kejriwal, that means that 3 or 4 days, every 3 or 4 days, 1 million bottles of liquor extra would be sold in Delhi. 1 million bottles of liquor every 3 days. Mr. Kejriwal, why do you support these liquor sales? What's your interest? Question number 3. Extra liquor of 2.5 to 3 lakh bottles of liquor a day, as per Kejriwal's desire, via 550 more liquor.
LiquorGate hits the Aam Aadmi Party. MHA now suspends 2 scam-linked IS officers. The Aam Aadmi Party is on the offensive in Punjab, arrests former Congress minister over alleged food grain scam. Miscreants opened fire in the national capital, 2 dead, 1 critically injured. Uproar as the BJP leader insults the Tiranga. FIR is slapped against the BJP leader. In the dock for graft charges, the court is to hear Satyendra Jain's bail plea today. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. We begin with news that's just coming in. Now, Minister from Tamil Nadu has sparked a massive row. The Minister Thiagarajan compared the Modi government to Raj 2.0 and the British government while speaking at a debate at Oxford University. Now, his comments, of course, have sparked a massive row. It is a controversial statement that he made at a debate in which he was participating at the prestigious Oxford University. He's compared the Modi government to the British rule. We're going to try and play out that bite for you.
That one of the surest signs that the ghost is dead is that the new version, the resurrection, has happened. If you look at it two ways, in the UK, the once colonized have now taken over the kingdom. If you look at the cabinet today, whether it's the Treasury Secretary, the Home Secretary, Junior Minister in the Foreign Office, my good friend now Lord Billy Moria, you look at people like this, the once colonized have now taken over the kingdom. The kingdom doesn't exert its power anymore. And if you look in India, we are well on our way to a Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London. That one of the surest signs that the ghost is dead is that the new version, the resurrection, has happened. If you look at it two ways, in the UK, the once colonized have now taken over the kingdom. If you look at the cabinet today, whether it's the Treasury Secretary, the Home Secretary, Junior Minister in the Foreign Office, my good friend now Lord Billy Moria, you look at people like this, the once colonized have now taken over the kingdom. The kingdom doesn't exert its power anymore. And if you look in India, we are well on our way to a Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Well, that's the Finance Minister also of Tamil Nadu sparking a big row over there. Varshini, his comments, of course, back home are drawing a lot of controversy.
Well, absolutely, yes, and it is not new that the Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Palnivel Thiagarajan, has made these statements attacking the BJP government. And recently, of late, be it after the GST Council meeting or after the announcement of the reduction of taxes by December, there has been constant remarks made by the Finance Minister, and now he is once again made an attack on the BJP government and talking about a Raj 2.0 when he compares that the British government, whatever is happening in UK, in London, is very similar to what is happening in India, is what is mentioned. He's also speaking about how, the government in UK has completely taken over the kingdom. And similarly here, the whole, government has come out of Delhi and is moving throughout the states. And it is a kind of a hit at the, repeated allegations or repeated accusation put forth by the DMK government, which constantly keeps telling about how there is no state autonomy. And this is also one such remark that the Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu, Dr. PTR, has mentioned at a global stage where, he has made this attack on the BJP government.
Right, of course, Varshini, we're still awaiting for remarks to come in from the BJP over this. Thank you, Varshini, for the moment for joining us. All right, Mr. Tirupati, in fact, from the BJP is on the phone line. Mr. Tirupati, good morning. Thank you for speaking to us on Republic TV. To begin with, what do you make of these remarks that the finance minister has made? He was speaking at a debate that was held at Oxford where he compared the power in Delhi to the British rule.
He doesn't understand what is democracy. He doesn't understand what is India. He says that he is an educated person. He says he is a thoughtful person. But I only pity him because I think he has lost all his senses. I am very sorry for the state of Tamil Nadu that we have a very unfortunate finance minister. And he claims that he knows everything, but he doesn't know anything. That is the problem. So I think we will ignore whatever he says because he is out of his mind.
All right.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you, of course, was the fact that this is not the first time really that he's attacked the Prime Minister and he's attacked the BJP government at the centre. You know, he often does make these kind of remarks.
Yes, that's what I said. The last 1 week or so, he has been saying so many things about the Prime Minister, about the freebies, about the central government, central-state relations, everything. But ultimately, he says that except him, nobody in India has got brains. That is how his brains work. What to do?
All right, Mr. Tirupati, appreciate your speaking to us on Republic TV. Thank you for joining us. Well, the Indian Army has foiled an infiltration attempt at Nowshera sector of Jammu and Kashmir. This comes after there was another infiltrator who was nabbed earlier. This, I think, was about 2 days ago. So essentially another infiltration bid being foiled. This is the usual time for terrorists to try and enter as the summer months come to an end. Usually that's what's being seen, that infiltration attempts from across the border are on the rise. Gursimran is joining us live. He's reporting from Jammu. Gursimran, good morning. Gursimran, give us more details of this particular infiltration bid that was foiled by the Indian Army last night.
See, this infiltration bid was foiled when a group of terrorists tried to enter the Indian territory in the Pukharni area that falls in the Nowshera sector of Rajouri district. And late last night, we told that a group of terrorists that tried to sneak into the Indian territory. They were challenged by the Indian army troops who were deployed in the forward area, and the attempt of the Pakistani terrorists was thwarted. This comes 2 days after the arrest of a Pakistani intruder who was trained at the Lashkar-e-Toiba camp for over 6 months and has worked for the Pakistani intelligence agency ISI for over 2 years, and he was a suicide bomber who was in a bid to cross over to the Indian territory and then was planning a major terror strike on the installations of the Indian army in Nowshera sector only, but he was apprehended by the Indian army, and right now his questioning is going on in the Rajouri army installation. And during his investigation, it also came into being that he was in a bid to push a group of terrorists into the Indian territory along with him. So possibly this group could be that group that was about to come with the Pakistani infiltrator Tabreek, who was arrested, and now another attempt of the Pakistan has been foiled. But this clearly shows the desperation of the Pakistani side, that how desperate the Pakistani establishment is to push terrorists into the Indian territory so that they can vitiate the peace process and carry out a major terror strike. Now the searches are on in the entire area of the Pukharni and the nearby areas to find out if any terrorist is injured or has been killed in the India's retaliation, so that he or she can be found and also the recoveries can be made from them.
All right, Gursimran reporting on that from Jammu. Thank you for joining us. So Gursimran over there bringing the details of that infiltration bid that took place last night. Now, unidentified people have allegedly stolen 10 ancient idols, I beg your pardon, from a temple in Jalna in Maharashtra. 10 ancient metal idols were missing after a missing complaint was filed. The district SP has said that the police is examining CCTV footage from the temple to identify the suspects. A case of theft has been registered at the local police station. So news just coming in, we are given to understand that 10 ancient idols are missing in Jalna. This is at a temple in Jalna in Maharashtra. A missing complaint has been filed for these idols, and the district SP, of course, has said that the police is examining CCTV footage of the area to try and identify these suspects. All right, so the theft, we understand, came to light in the morning when the temple's priest went inside the temple to find these 10 ancient idols missing. According to sources, the idols were made of 5 metals and reportedly installed in the temple in 1535. So these obviously are ancient idols which were installed in the temple quite a while back. What we're given to understand is that the police are investigating, they are examining CCTV footage of the entire premises.
उपमुख्यमंत्री महोदय, माझ्या मतदारसंघामध्ये जालना जिल्ह्यामध्ये जाम समर्थ नावाचं रामदास स्वामींचं जन्मगाव आहे आणि आपल्याला माहिती आहे की रामदास स्वामींचं जन्मगाव हे आपणच आपल्या सरकारने ब दर्जाचं त्याला तीर्थक्षेत्र पर्यटन मध्ये घेतलेलं आहे आणि आज पहाटे जे रामदास स्वामी त्या ठिकाणी रामाचं लक्ष्मणाचं ज्या पूजा करायच्या ऍक्च्युअली मूर्तींच्या पंचधातूच्या मूर्ती पहाटे 3 वाजता काही अज्ञात चोरट्यांनी कम्प्लिटली या सगळ्या 700 वर्ष पूर्वीच्या ह्या सगळ्या मूर्त्या चोरलेल्या आहेत आणि संपूर्ण जनभावना या संदर्भातली फार निश्चित प्रकारे त्याच्या बाबतीतली शुद्ध आहे आणि माझी अशी विनंती आहे की आपण पूर्ण टोकाचे प्रयत्न करून आपण गृहमंत्री आहात, उपमुख्यमंत्री आहात आणि आपल्याला या सगळ्या प्रश्नाची अधिक जास्त जाणीव आहे. म्हणून मला एवढंच म्हणायचं, महाराष्ट्रभरातून लोक तिथे दर्शनाला येतात, मुंबईतून जातात, सगळीकडून जातात आणि त्यामुळे या संदर्भातलं आपण गांभीर्याने नोंद घेऊन कळवावं असं मला वाटतं.
Alisha now joins us on the phone line. Alisha, you know, this obviously is something that is going to be extremely serious because these temples were these idols were actually installed in the temple in 1535. What are the police saying?
Well, after the missing Kamala, because this is the incident of yesterday morning at around 3 a.m. where the unidentified person allegedly stole 10 ancient idols the temple in Jalna. What we know that this is the idols made of 5 metals installed in the temple in the year 1535. As we know, it's more than 700 years ancient idols which were stolen. And after the missing complaint, where the district SP arrived at the scene and the police examining the CCTV footage from the temple to identify the suspect, the case of theft has been registered as Ghansabji police station. So it's important, and even we heard the bite was requesting the Home Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis asking him to take the matter into very seriously because this is a temple and known to be a very tourist place where the people across the country come to take the blessings of the temple and the idols which has been installed in the same temple. So it's more than 10 idols that has been stolen yesterday at around 3 a.m. is what we have been told, the official that has been information that has been provided. The case has already been registered and now the police is examining the CCTV footage to identify the suspect.
All right, Alisha bringing us all those details. Thank you for joining us. Well, the liquor gate face-off between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP has exploded. Amid mounting charges, the Aam Aadmi Party has made fresh claims against the BJP. Here's more on what's been said.
Amid mounting charges in the liquor gate scam, the Aam Aadmi Party has several questions to answer. But as the party's defiance continues, it has now made another massive claim against the Bharatiya Janata Party. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, named as the accused number 1 in the CBI charge sheet in the liquor scam, has now claimed that the BJP offered him the chief ministerial post.
Aam Aadmi Party has made a sensational claim
They say that Manish Sisodia had actually received a call from a BJP leader saying that if at all Manish Sisodia decides to break the Aam Aadmi party and comes across to the BJP, then he would be made the chief minister. And not just that, all the cases that have been registered against him will be washed away. Manish Sisodia made this stunning claim not just one but multiple times, even during his rallies in Gujarat.
पार्टी तोड़ के बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लीजिए और हम आपको सीएम बना देंगे, क्योंकि हमारे पास में कोई सीएम कैंडिडेट नहीं है वहां पे दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी में.
The claim has ended up into a face-off, even more intensified over a purported audio tape of the alleged offer.
Questions have essentially been asked. Who exactly is the BJP leader who's made this kind of an offer? And secondly, the Bharatiya Janata Party is saying that if such a leader has actually called Manish Sisodia and given him the offer, then what is stopping the Aam Aadmi Party from naming that BJP leader?
दिल्ली के उप मुख्यमंत्री ने ये खुलासा किया कि उनके ऊपर जो सीबीआई की ईडी की धरपकड़ हो रही है उससे संबंधित उनको एक मैसेज आया है भारतीय जनता पार्टी से. भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने कहा है आप भाजपा में आ जाइए, आपके सारे केस हम सुलट लेंगे.
This is yet another attempt that has been made by the Bharatiya Janata Party to muzzle the voice of the opposition by intimidating them, but also raising this entire question that there is absolutely no problem with the excise policy. In fact, they have called this excise policy as the country's best excise policy, which has brought in revenue for the national capital. And not just that, this is also a policy which was discussed threadbare in the Legislative Assembly, and also there was a discussion with the former LG.
However, AAP, which is beating around the bush, continues to duck the specifics of the alleged scam. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, an academic from the United Kingdom has filed a petition at the High Court where he says that he was treated like a terrorist and deported. The Delhi High Court, in fact, has sought the centre's stand on the academic Filippo Osella's petition seeking records related to his deportation from Thiruvananthapuram airport in March and quashing the same as arbitrary and illegal. Now, Osella, who's a professor of anthropology and South Asian studies at the University of Sussex, has also sought a declaration that his deportation was arbitrary, unreasonable and illegal. He was deported from the Thiruvananthapuram airport on the 23rd of March. In his petition, of course, Osella has said that he was treated like a terrorist or some kind of hardened criminal by authorities in India when he was escorted back and bundled into the same aircraft in which he had arrived. The petitioner says that I was in complete shock as I had a valid research visa issued by the government of India. Once Osella of course, asked the immigration supervisor and officers as to why he was being deported. The petitioner was refused any explanation. In fact, immigration officers gave no reasons. So Osella, of course, has now moved the High Court. Osella has now moved the High Court and wants the deportation essentially withdrawn. Just to tell our viewers that this professor from the University of Sussex was deported from the Thiruvananthapuram airport on the 23rd of March. Now, the High Court, of course, has also sought the centre's stand on this deportation of Filippo Osella, and he in his petition, of course, has said that he was treated like a terrorist and was bundled back in the same plane that he came into. The Delhi High Court taking note and asking for the centre's stand on this. To remember that he says that he had a valid visa for some research work that he wanted to carry out. Osella is a professor of anthropology and South Asian studies at the University of Sussex. Now, in his petition that he's filed in the High Court, he has sought a declaration that his deportation was arbitrary, unreasonable and illegal. So that's the latest that we are getting right now on this story. The Delhi High Court, of course, has asked for the centre's stand on this. It has asked the centre as to why this UK academic Filippo Osella was deported from the country despite having valid travel papers. Osella, of course, was granted a valid visa. However, he was deported from the airport. Now, the petitioner, of course, Osella, has said that he was in complete shock as he had a valid research visa issued by the government of India. He also goes on to say that the immigration supervisor over there did not really give any reasons for his deportation. Well, with Amit Arora being described as a major person to have framed the liquor policy, Republic went on ground to know the business operations of Amit Arora and his directors. How many companies was Arora operating? Are they doing well financially? How many employees are there in these companies? With Amit Arora being the main accused, we wanted to know that whether these companies are being used for keeping the proceeds of crime. Here's more.
Of the 5 people questioned by the Central Bureau of Investigation on Sunday, Republic TV has learned that one businessman, Amit Arora, holds the crucial link as far as the liquor scam is concerned. In fact, his company, Buddy Retail Private Limited, had license to 2 zones in the national capital. One was Zone 30 and the other happens to be the airport zone. Remember, the airport zone turns out to be the bone of contention in terms of the waiver, alleged waiver given by the excise department of about 30 crore rupees, despite this company not getting the requisite permissions or the NOC from the airport authorities. Not just that, we are given to understand that the CBI is essentially looking into the track record of the companies that were run by Amit Arora. They're looking at the expenditures that have been incurred by his companies in terms of hotel bookings and flight tickets, because the agency essentially suspects that there is a high possibility that there could be a quid pro quo, given the fact that this businessman has played a crucial role in perhaps getting some of the Aam Aadmi Party politicians introduced to some of the liquor wholesalers. The allegation essentially being that about 150 crore, that's the annual turnover requirement as far as the bidding process is concerned, which many have then raised this question as to how exactly did they come to a conclusion that 150 crore should be the capping as far as the annual turnover of any company is concerned. These are some of the allegations, apart from the fact that there were waivers of about 143 crore given to one of the bidders, and then also about 30 crore rupees waiver that was given to one company which did not have the requisite permissions from the airport authorities. These are some aspects that are being looked at by the Central Bureau of Investigation. This after 8 people against whom the lookout circular has already been issued. 5 people have already been questioned so far. And in the days to come, we are given to understand that the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi would also be called in for further examination.
A day after the CBI registered a case against 15 accused and raided the residence of Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia in connection with the liquor scam, the probe has exposed a deep nexus between bureaucrats, liquor barons and politicians, with a crucial link man at the center of it, Amit Arora, who is director of Buddy Retail Private Limited based in Gurugram. Republic went on the ground to know his business operations.
This person named as Amit Arora has been identified as one of the main accused who has been involved or who has been accused of framing up this excise liquor scam. The fact that most of his companies at present are not registered at its present location does cast an aspersion, and this again results in investigating agencies to investigate this matter. Surprisingly, when we came over here on the ground, we found that his offices were not really there at the spot. So as I said again, it now becomes very important for the investigating agencies to investigate the entire matter.
However, a reporter was denied entry in Whipple Greens, from where Amit Arora's company Buddy Retail's office operates.
मेरे को सर 611 ए जाना था, वहाँ पे जा सकते हैं? वहाँ पे मैग्नोलिया सर्विसेज प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है।
611 ए?
हाँ।
611 ए तो खाली है?
खाली है ना?
वहाँ काम चल रहा है।
पर वहाँ पे तो मतलब 4-5 कंपनियाँ रजिस्टर्ड है। एक तो मैग्नोलिया सर्विस प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है, मैग्नोलिया एनर्जी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है, अमित अरोरा के नाम पे है ना।
आगे गेट नंबर चाहिए।
हाँ, लेकिन आप बोल रहे खाली है ना?
खाली नहीं मतलब। अब क्या है, वो गेट 1 से एंट्री होती ना, ये आउट गेट।
पर आपने बोला पहले खाली है ना? खाली है, अभी तक तो खाली है।
Listen to the security guard who says no such office exists in the building.
भैया ये 611A जो यहाँ पर है उसका क्या स्टेटस है, मुझे बताइएगा ज़रा।
काम चल रही है वहाँ कोई रह नहीं रहा है अभी।
वहाँ पे कोई नहीं रह रहा, क्योंकि हमारे अनुसार जो मतलब वहाँ पे ना 4-5 कंपनी रजिस्टर्ड है और मतलब हमें जो बताया गया है वो मतलब वहाँ पे खाली है।
नहीं, कोई कंपनी नहीं रह रहा है अभी
वहाँ पे, कोई कंपनी नहीं रह रहा ना?
कोई कंपनी नहीं।
अच्छा, क्योंकि मतलब हमें जो अगर आप देखेंगे तो अमित अरोरा नहीं है, उनके नाम पे ये कंपनी रजिस्टर्ड है और मतलब वो वहाँ पे 4-5 कंपनियाँ वहाँ पे थी, तो ऐसा कोई कंपनी कभी वहाँ पे काम नहीं कर रहा?
नहीं।
चलिए ठीक है।
Meanwhile, the Delhi police has also issued a notice to the Delhi Excise Department demanding the specifics in the ongoing Liquorgate controversy. This comes amid the simultaneous probe into Amit Arora's involvement. While the CBI looks into the paper office companies, it needs to be seen what more explosive details emerge from the probe. Bureau Report for Republic TV.
Well, the Sri Lankan Navy yesterday conducted a special operation to chase away Indian trawlers which were poaching in the island's water. The operation led to the seizure of an Indian trawler with 10 Indian fishermen. Let's go across live to Varshini, who has more details. She's reporting from Chennai. Varshini, give us more details of these 10 Indian fishermen who've been detained along with their trawler.
Well, yes, absolutely. So, as it was a similar operation that the Sri Lankan Navy usually, holds in the Sri Lankan water borders of the Indian waters, where the Indian fishermen, almost 10 fishermen from Nagapattinam, had gone into the seas to fish. And at that time, it is said that near Mullaitivu, the Sri Lankan Navy has arrested these 10 fishermen for crossing the border and trying to fish and to poach the fish that belongs to the Sri Lankan borders, and they have immediately been detained at the Trikonamala police station, where an FIR has also been filed, and they will be immediately produced in the port, and they will also there is high chances that they will also be detained and sent to judicial custody, whereas there has already a lot of requests sent to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to take immediate action to bring these fishermen back, since this is a recurring incident that keeps on happening. There has to be some way that there can be a stop put to these kind of arrests being made by the Sri Lankan Navy.
All right. So as Varshini, as you're pointing out, the Indian authorities obviously will be talking to their Sri Lankan counterparts on this. Thank you very much for joining us.
BJP General Secretary Mohammad Qasim in Lakshadweep has been booked for holding the national flag upside down along with his wife. This has snowballed into a major controversy. Stay tuned to Republic TV. We'll be right back after a very short break.
Elections will be held and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election. All associations across India will have a representation, which means it is as democratic as it can get in Indian football. The Supreme Court has said the decisions taken to dissolve the COA of the AIFF has been done keeping the interest of India and Indian football in mind, which means they want the World Cup to be held in India at any cost.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a Central Asian country, was hired in Turkey, was tasked with bombing an Indian leadership elite, was headed to India, arrested by Russia. was coming to India after having been indoctrinated, trained to carry out a suicide bombing. It's perhaps for the first time that an international operation of this kind has unraveled.
Why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees become 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scandal. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scandal, Kartik. You should be able to speak about it, Kartik.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
मनीष सिसोदिया के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, केजरीवाल के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है और अब तीसरा पुतला सत्येंद्र जैन के रूप में उसको भी आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। ये बैरिकेड तोड़ने की कोशिश कार्यकर्ताओं की तरफ स्वदेश गुप्ता जो बैरिकेड के ऊपर चढ़ गए हैं और बैरिकेड को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल इस्तीफा दो के नारे, लगातार पोस्टर और यही मांग की जा रही है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल मनीष सिसोदिया को बर्खास्त करें, सत्येंद्र जैन को बर्खास्त करें। कैबिनेट में दोनों बने हुए हैं।
We are right now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of
You're watching the Morning Express. The headlines at this hour: Tamil Nadu Minister Sparks Rao compares Modi government to British rule at Oxford. Ten ancient idols allegedly stolen from Jalna temple. Massive uproar over the theft. Miscreants opened fire in national capital. 2 dead, 1 critically injured. Uproar as BJP leader insults the Tiranga. FIR slapped against him. In the dock for graft charges, court to hear Satyendra Jain bail plea today. Hello and welcome to the Morning Express here on Republic. I'm Rukma, and in our top story, we're breaking news from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu revives priest training schools and launches one-year-long courses. So breaking news coming in now, big move by the Tamil Nadu government. It launches one-year-long courses and revives priest training schools in the state. Well, more details are awaited. Varshini to take us through this major breaking development. Varshini, tell us about this government launch, the launching of priest schools. What is the reasoning that the government has given for it? And what is the form that these priest training schools will take?
Well, if you say this particular priest training schools have already been exist in Tamil Nadu during 2007-2008 and that period, and these are schools that particularly train students for performing pujas and other traditions at the temples. Who are not from the Brahmin caste, and these students will be trained for 1 year. This has been revived by the Tamil Nadu government as promised at the beginning of their government, and now they have revived 6 schools in districts such as Madurai, Tiruchirappalli and Swami Malai, etc. And these 6 schools for now to begin with will be training 151 students from belonging to the age of 14 to 24, and they will be trained for 1 year, after which they can be appointed directly to a lot of temples in the state by the HRNC department itself. And this is going to be a very important school, and there is a talk that 3 more schools will be also added to this list where these kind of trainings for these students between this age category will be given. And we also hear that a lot of students have also enrolled, and as of now 38 students have been enrolled into these schools initially to start off with. Therefore, as you mentioned, it is definitely a big move, and it has been one of the most important move that the DMK government in particular has been waiting to launch, so that it could it could be one of their important agenda of their Dravidian model government, and that is what is exactly happened right now.
Right, so 38 students have enrolled. So when we talk about students here, what are the kind of facilities that they will be enjoying? Are these boarding schools? Were they boarding schools? It's a 1-year long course. And what about, is it gender? Are they going to be gender specific? Give us more details.
Absolutely not gender specific. And even yesterday when the Chief Minister launched this program, there was even a little girl who got herself enrolled into this course, and there has been already several temples where there are female priests in Tamil Nadu, and who were also a part of these schools back in 2007 and 2008, who have been still working as priests in Tamil Nadu temples. And about the curriculum, there will be 3 different course regulations that will be taken, basically about the pujas and the rituals that have to be performed, about the Nadaswara and Kavil performances. So there are 3 different courses, and there are 3 different courses that these students will be going through, and this will be a complete course where these students will be taught about all the procedures of the temple. Since there are students coming from different backgrounds, different castes, they will all be put together in one single platform and be taught a similar procedure that has to be constantly followed in these temples, and which is not any kind of gender specific nor caste specific. It's going to be very neutral in that case for the students who've enrolled to learn these kind of procedures for their future.
Well, many thanks, Varshini, for all those details, very detailed inputs from Varshini, our correspondent who's covering the story. And so Tamil Nadu, in a major breaking development, revives preschools after 14 years. Many thanks, Varshini, once again. Moving on now to news from Bihar. The state government was forced to order an investigation into the violent crackdown on protests in Patna, which took place on Monday, when job seekers took to the streets demanding answers from the Bihar government. Is this the beginning of the return of Jungle Raj in Bihar? Here's more.
The video of young boy Anisur Rahman being mercilessly assaulted by a Bihar government officer in Patna has shocked the nation.
कहता है कि पुलिस से दरिया अब तेरी खैर नहीं, बूंदों ने बगावत कर दी है, अरे नादा ना समझ बुद्धि
Rahman's fault was that he was protesting for seeking his right of being employed by the Bihar government, as he had cleared a teacher's eligibility test 3 years back.
And this is what happened to Anisur Rahman, a job aspirant protesting on the streets of Patna. He was left badly bruised and beaten up for demanding a job from the Bihar government.
The new Bihar Deputy CM, Tejasvi Yadav, had promised in the 2020 Bihar Vidhan Sabha elections that with his first signature in the first cabinet, he will sanction 10 lakh government jobs.
हम यही सारे विद्यार्थियों से अपील करेंगे कि आप लोग थोड़ा
धैर्य रखिए, उसी दिशा में हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। और हमारी तो लड़ाई रही है रोजगार को लेकर के, नौकरी को लेकर के। और नई महागठबंधन की जो सरकार बनी है, जिसका नेतृत्व नीतीश कुमार जी कर रहे हैं, 15 अगस्त को यह ऐलान ही हो गया कि 10 लाख तो नौकरी और उसके अलावा भी रोजगार की व्यवस्था कराएंगे, उसको 20 लाख तक पहुंचाएंगे।
Now that both Tejasvi and Nitish Kumar have joined hands, will they be able to provide job opportunities and employment for the youths in Bihar? That's a $1 million question. In Patna, Prakash Singh for Republic TV.
So Prakash, our senior editor there in Patna, reporting on that story. As you can see, those are the visuals of an ADM thrashing, well, a protester there as he holds the Tiranga. So many questions arise. Is Jungle Raj back in Bihar? Let's understand more as we listen in to this reaction.
आंख के सामने स्क्रीन पर जिस तरह से उस बच्चे को मारा जा रहा है, और लोकतंत्र में मारने का कहाँ जगह है। लंबी लंबी बात करते हैं, कभी चाचा कहते हैं 20 लाख, भतीजा कहते हैं 10 लाख नौकरी देंगे, अदला अदली बोल रहे हैं। और जब वो बच्चा आया है, वो पास किया हुआ अभ्यर्थी है, वो 7वें चरण में परीक्षा देके पास किया है, अपने परीक्षा लिया है, और उसकी अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं करेंगे। वो कहने आया है कि हमारा अपॉइंटमेंट कीजिए, आप उससे बात करते। लोकतंत्र का तकाजा यह है कि उससे बात करें, निगोशिएशन करें, यही लोकतंत्र की मर्यादा है। आप किसी अधिकारियों को और पुलिस लगा के आप आतंक फैलाएंगे, आप मारेंगे, आप तिरंगा का अपमान करेंगे। जिस तिरंगा के लिए हमारे सेना में भाई माइनस डिग्री में जाके जान गंवाते रहता है पूरे सीमाओं पर, आप उस तिरंगा का भी अपमान किया। आपको इतना भी सेंस नहीं आपके अधिकारियों को, और कहते हैं हम जांच करेंगे। जांच क्या करना है, तो साफ नजर आ रहा है मारते हुए। इस 21वीं सदी में आप जांच कराने की जरूरत नहीं है, देखने की जरूरत है। आप देख ले, आंख है तो, और वैसे लोगों पर सख्त कार्रवाई करें। और जब वो बच्चे आए यहाँ, तो फिर उससे निगोशिएशन क्यों नहीं आपने किया? आपने उसको समझाया क्यों नहीं? आपने उससे बात क्यों नहीं की? यह कहने से काम नहीं चलेगा कि हमको कलेक्टर से बात। ये कलेक्टर का राज है, ये IAS और IPS का राज है, ये डिप्टी कलेक्टर का राज है, ये लोकतांत्रिक राज है। तो लोकतंत्र में जनता जिसको मालिक समझती है, जिसको वोट देती है, उसे अपने अधिकारों की रक्षा और
So outrage on the part of the BJP at the cruel treatment meted out to protesters there in Bihar. Let's listen in to what the RJD had to say about the entire issue.
जिस मैंने बर्बरता के साथ उस लड़के को लाठी से पीटा जा रहा था, और भी ADM के जरिए, वो प्रशासनिक पदाधिकारी है। कोई पुलिस का सिपाही उस तरह से करता तो उसको माना जा सकता है कि उसको यही ट्रेनिंग मिली है। लेकिन इनको जिस तरह की ट्रेनिंग मिली है, उसका संबंध लाठी से पीटने का क्या है? तो हम तो अनुरोध करेंगे सरकार से, नीतीश जी से भी अनुरोध करेंगे, तेजस्वी जी से भी अनुरोध करेंगे, उस पदाधिकारी को तत्काल सस्पेंड किया जाना चाहिए और इस बात की जांच करानी चाहिए, उसका दिमागी जांच कराना चाहिए कि वो प्रशासनिक पदाधिकारी होने लायक है या नहीं। फिलहाल उसको सस्पेंड किया जाना चाहिए। उसमें सामने दिखाई दे रहा है, जांच उसमें क्या करनी है।
Moving on to other news stories, the hearing on the AIFF ban concluded at the Supreme Court yesterday, with the top court handing over the administration of the body to the acting General Secretary, calling for fresh elections to the body in line with demands from FIFA. Here's more.
After the centre filed for an urgent hearing in the Supreme Court regarding the FIFA suspension of AIFF, the court heard the matter yesterday. The top court dissolved the Committee of Administrators and handed the AIFF's responsibility to the acting General Secretary Sunando Dhar. The Supreme Court also directed elections to be held in line with FIFA guidelines and called for them to be concluded within 1 week. In its order yesterday, the Supreme Court also gave directions on how the AIFF's executive committee was to be constituted. Before the 22nd August order, the Supreme Court on numerous instances had taken up measures to clean up AIFF. FIFA, while banning India's football body, had cited undue influence as the main reason. The Supreme Court's order yesterday has been passed with the expectation that the ban will be lifted. If the ban is not lifted, India will lose the right to host the Under-17 Women's World Cup from the 11th to the 30th of October as scheduled. Not only that, it would also lose the right to host any other FIFA tournament. Now, India waits for the apex football body to come to a fair decision and lift the ban on the AIFF. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And the Tamil Nadu minister sparks a major row as he compares the Modi government to British rule at an address in Oxford. More coming up in a short while. And 10 ancient idols allegedly stolen from Jalna temple. Massive uproar over the theft. All this and more coming up in a short while after a very short break.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत होगी?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
मनीष सिसोदिया के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, केजरीवाल के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है और अब ये तीसरा पुतला सत्येंद्र जैन के रूप में उसको भी आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। ये बैरिकेड तोड़ने की कोशिश कार्यकर्ताओं की तरफ स्वदेश गुप्ता जो बैरिकेड के ऊपर चढ़ गए हैं और बैरिकेड को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल इस्तीफा दो के नारे, लगातार पोस्टर और यही मांग की जा रही है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल मनीष सिसोदिया को बर्खास्त करें, सत्येंद्र जैन को बर्खास्त करें। कैबिनेट में दोनों बने हुए हैं।
We are right now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of the strong actions those are being taken.
Elections will be held and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election. All associations across India will have a representation, which means it is as democratic as it can get in Indian football. The Supreme Court has said the decisions taken to dissolve the COA of the AIFF has been done keeping the interest of India and Indian football in mind, which means they want the World Cup to be held in India at any cost.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a Central Asian country, was hired in Turkey, was tasked with bombing an Indian leadership elite, was headed to India, arrested by Russia. Was coming to India after having been indoctrinated, trained to carry out a suicide bombing. It's perhaps for the first time that an international operation of this kind has unraveled.
Why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees became 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scandal. This kind of protest never happened.
And breaking news coming in now. As you can see, that's footage, visuals from Palghar, where a man pushes a woman in front of a moving train. That's a speeding train you're seeing there at Vasai station, and flees with 2 children. Vasai Railway Police have registered a case under Section 302 of the IPC against the man that you see in the footage who killed his wife, pushing her under a train, a speeding train at Vasai station, and absconding with 2 of his children. A search is on for the accused husband. Sandeep joining us with the latest update on that. Sandeep, a search is on for the accused in this case. We're seeing this shocking video of the Palghar husband who pushes his wife to her death under a moving train and absconds with 2 children. Tell us more. What is the latest update? What leads are the police following, and what's happening in the case?
See, a very horrifying incident took place early in the morning at around 4 a.m. and this person pushed his wife at the railway station, and in fact, after which she lost her life and took away the 2 kids with himself. Now, railway police has in fact registered a case against him under the section of IPC 302, and now is looking out for this man. It is a very shocking incident, and now at this point of time, the reason for this is not clear. But yes, the police, railway police, is in search of this person, and as soon as he gets arrested, the further details will be shared by media, by the railway police. But yes, prima facie, it seems that there was something wrong between the husband and wife, but it will be very early to say this. But yes, the railway police is in search of this man. Once he gets arrested, only then more details could be shared.
Well, many thanks, Sandeep, for joining us there. So, shocking video from Palghar that you see on your screens. Meanwhile, coming up in other news stories up ahead, a BJP leader insults the national flag. Uproar as BJP leader insults the Tiranga, FIR slapped against him. All the details here on Republic. Stay with us. Also coming up, in the dock for graft charges, court to hear Satyendra Jain bail plea today.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a Central Asian country, was hired in Turkey, was tasked with bombing an Indian leadership elite, was headed to India, arrested by Russia.
Was coming to India after having been indoctrinated, trained to carry out a suicide bombing. It's perhaps for the first time that an international operation of this kind has unraveled.
Karti, why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees became 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scanner. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scanner, Karti. You should be able to speak about it, Karti.
जी, आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
मनीष सिसोदिया के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, केजरीवाल के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है और अब तीसरा पुतला सत्येंद्र जैन के रूप में उसको भी आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। ये बैरिकेड तोड़ने की कोशिश कार्यकर्ताओं की तरफ से स्वदेश गुप्ता जो बैरिकेड के ऊपर चढ़ गए हैं और बैरिकेड को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल इस्तीफा दो के नारे, लगातार पोस्टर और यही मांग की जा रही है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल मनीष सिसोदिया को बर्खास्त करें, सत्येंद्र जैन को बर्खास्त करें। कैबिनेट में दोनों बने हुए हैं।
We are right
now showing you the pictures of this flag march, which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of the strong actions those are being taken.
Elections will be held and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election. All associations across India will have a representation, which means it is as democratic as it can get in Indian football. The Supreme Court has said the decisions taken to dissolve the COA of the AIFF has been done, keeping the interest of India and
Breaking news, issue of permission for Ganeshotsav celebrations at Hubli Eidgah Maidan. A signature collection from public has started in Hubli. Pramod Mutalik is driving the signature campaign, and the collection of signatures is led by Sri Ram Sena President Pramod Mutalik. A background of signature collection permission of pro-Hindu organizations is over. Well, Niranjan, joining us to tell us, explain to us what this situation is about permission and collection of signatures to celebrate Ganeshotsav in Hubli at the Eidgah Maidan there.
Well, in Karnataka, what's happening is there is this complete polarization right now, Rukma, and this polarization is happening before the elections. In a few months, in less than a year, the state of Karnataka will see elections. And Pramod Mutalik is an extremely controversial character, extremely controversial. And here, his right-wing group is seen beginning a signature campaign. The signature campaign has begun in Hubli in Karnataka. And the issue is of seeking permission for Ganesh Chaturthi and for the Ganesh festival at Hubli's Eidgah Maidan. Now, Pramod Mutalik is leading this signature campaign, and he's from the Sri Ram Sena. Sri Ram Sena is an extremely controversial organization as well. Shocked to fame when the Mangalore pub attack took place over 10 years ago, and he led that attack. And he's from the right-wing groups, and of course, he is leading this campaign now for collecting the signatures at the Eidgah Maidan. Now, the entire background is that he wants, he and his group and some Hindu groups want permission for the Ganesh Chaturthi and the Ganeshotsav festival celebration at the Eidgah Maidan. And they're going, from door to door collecting signatures. And of course, this is not going down well with many others. For example, the Dargah Guru, the Muslim, Dargah Guru, has also said that there could be an attempt to sort of try and incite passions by doing these campaigns, but it's going to okay. I'm tossing back to you. I'm handing it back to you. We'll come back and we'll get you more details on this, but we're picking up more details. So back to you for now.
Well, many thanks, Niranjan, for explaining that situation. So, developing story there, signature campaign held to acquire permission to celebrate Ganeshotsav in Hubli's Eidgah Maidan. More on that coming up, but right now we're going in for a very short break, after which we'll be telling you about how a Tamil Nadu minister has sparked a row comparing the Modi government to British rule at an address in Oxford. Also coming up, 10 ancient idols allegedly stolen from a temple in Jalna. Massive uproar over the theft.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. India #1 is not equal to making liquor mafia #1. The nation is talking tonight about #LiquorGate. the Liquorgate scam which helped the liquor mafia, under Kejriwal's watch, make a huge windfall in Delhi. Kejriwal and Sisodia want to change the subject. They went to Gujarat hoping to change the agenda, with Kejriwal formally declaring himself as a challenger to Narendra Modi in 2024. But there in Gujarat too, his press conference was besieged with questions about #Liquorgate. And he called off the press conference with many reporters still asking questions on #Liquorgate. Fact is, Kejriwal is not going to be able, Sisodia is not going to be able to avoid the questions on Liquorgate. And I have questions too, 5 to start with tonight. 1. Kejriwal said today that he still believes in his liquor policy. In that case, why did he say that the liquor policy was leading to huge windfalls for the liquor mafia? Does Kejriwal support that too? Question number 2 on Liquorgate. Kejriwal said today in his press conference, shockingly, that he actually was very keen to open 550 more liquor shops across Delhi. Now, if each liquor shop sells 500 liquor bottles at the least, Mr. Kejriwal, that means that every 3 or 4 days, 1 million bottles of liquor extra would be sold in Delhi. 1 million bottles of liquor every 3 days. Mr. Kejriwal, why do you support these liquor sales? What's your interest? Question number 3. Extra liquor of 2.5 to 3 lakh bottles of liquor a day, as per Kejriwal's desire, via 550 more liquor shops that he wants to open, would mean a minimum of sales of 10 to 15 crores every day more in liquor sales in Delhi. Mr. Kejriwal, how does that help the people of Delhi? Question number 4, and this is elementary. Was this the vision of Anna Hazare when he brought Arvind Kejriwal into public life? When they promised they would devote their life to make
Top headlines at 9 a.m. Tamil Nadu Minister Sparks Rao compares Modi government to British rule at Oxford. 10 ancient idols allegedly stolen from Jalna temple in Maharashtra. Massive uproar over theft. UK professor moves Delhi High Court, challenges deportation from the Kerala airport. Uproar as BJP leader insults Tiranga, FIR slapped against the BJP leader. In the dock for graft charges, court to hear Satyendra Jain bail plea today. Rao over Ganesh celebrations at Eidgah Maidan. Pramod Muthalik launches controversial signature campaign. Thanks for tuning in this Tuesday morning. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Lots lined up for you in this edition of our broadcast. Straight away starting with breaking news coming in. And news coming in as Kejriwal's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia faces massive backlash in connection with the liquor scam. Now, posters that were put off Manish Sisodia, they were blackened by the Congress workers, from what we understand, calling him a corrupt Deputy Chief Minister. In fact, that's the visual on your screens as well, where Manish Sisodia's poster was painted black by the Congress workers. We'll go across to our reporters to get us more details on this case. We have Anuj reporting live from the national capital. Anuj, if you could give us more details. We understand Manish Sisodia facing a lot of backlash, of course, but his poster now that has been blackened by the Congress workers.
Well, exactly. These are the visuals coming in from the Parpalganj area of the national capital. Let me remind you that Manish Sisodia's constituency is Parpalganj, and there this particular board is, where this particular board has been blacked, or rather this has been done by the Congress party worker there. We have seen earlier also how the Congress party is standing against Aam Aadmi party in the same matter when we are talking about the excise policy and the excise scam so-called called in by the Bharatiya Janata Party also. So this is like the Congress party workers, the Congress Karyakartas who are protesting against Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister, and the visuals are coming in from the Parpalganj area. Parpalganj area, let me remind you again, is the constituency of Deputy Chief Minister, that's Manish Sisodia, and there the particular board is, and which has been painted black by the Congress Karyakartas, and they are demanding the resignation of Manish Sisodia. If we'll go through the visuals, then this is the demand in that particular video, that they are demanding the resignation of Manish Sisodia. We have seen the war of word among Bharatiya Janata Party and Aam Aadmi Party, press conferences after press conferences, and now this is Congress Party also who is jumping into the same. And Congress earlier also we have seen has protested against Manish Sisodia, and these are the live images and the latest visual rather from the Parpalganj, where the Congress Karyakartas are protesting against Deputy Chief Minister and demanding his resignation.
Yes. Well, Anuj, thank you for the moment. We'll keep coming back to you as you track all the updates on the liquor scam case. And breaking news coming in from Telangana, this one from the Krishna district, where we are told that the incident that was reported on Monday, where two constables were moving in and around in the area when they saw that ATM was shutter half open and lights switched off. As they heard some sound inside, the police constable went inside, where they saw 6 members inside that ATM with saw blade and few other in fact, they were trying to break open the ATM, these miscreants, and who were nabbed by these two constables. We'll go across to an area as well in relation to get us more details of this case, where the cops were seen fighting 6 robbers. We have Aneri reporting live from Hyderabad. Aneri, if you could give us more details of this incident where the robbers, where the miscreants were caught red-handed by the cops.
Right, Samiksha, the incident has taken place in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh, where we have been seeing that the robbers who were trying to rob from the ATM in Krishna district in Gannavaram, where we have been seeing that after the police officials, the 2 constables who were on rounding on the two-wheeler, they out of suspicion saw that an ATM was open, the shutter of the ATM was half open and the lights were switched off, and so they immediately went inside and saw what was wrong, and there they found that there were 6 people who were trying to rob from the ATM, and they had all the weapons to break open the ATM. And so after that we see that there was a fight which happened between the police officials and these robbers, and later during which one of the cop also got injured, but one person was arrested by the police officials at that time, and later after being chased, another accused was also arrested, but still 4 others are absconding. And what the police officials continue to state is that these 6 have an Bangladeshi identity card, and two of them also who have been arrested, they have seized a keypad mobile phone from them, and so further investigation is being taken up. 4 others are still absconding. Teams have been formed to nab these other 4 also into this matter.
Well, Aneri, thank you for the moment. So just to correct myself, the incident that was reported from Andhra's Krishna district, where the robbers were caught red-handed by the cops. And on to more breaking news coming in, this one from J&K, where the Indian Army foiled yet another infiltration bid in Nowshera of the Nowshera district in sector in J&K. This comes 2 days after Pakistan infiltrator was nabbed and another terror infiltration attempt that was foiled. In fact, Gursimran is joining us live from Jammu. Gursimran, if you could give us more details on this infiltration bid that has been foiled in the Nowshera district of J&K.
sea infiltration bid by the Pakistani terrorists have been foiled by the Indian Army. This is in the Pukharni area of Nowshera sector in the Rajouri district along the line of control. And now we are getting to know that 2 bodies of the terrorists who were trying to sneak in has been spotted by the Indian Army. This is in the forward area. Indian Army has used the quadcopters to get the location of the terrorist, and they have found that 2 bodies are lying in the forward areas. Now the attempts are being made to retrieve these bodies so that it can be ascertained why these from where these terrorists were coming and what kind of arms and ammunition they were carrying with them, because 2 days earlier a Pakistani intruder was caught by Indian Army and he was in a bid to carry out a suicide attack, a Fidain attack on a vital installation of the Indian Army, as he was trained in the Bhimber camp of Lashkar-e-Toiba for over 6 months. He has worked with the Pakistani intelligence agency ISI for over 2 years, and it was plot of Pakistan to push a suicide bomber into the Indian territory that was foiled by Indian Army, and this suicide bomber Fidain was apprehended by the Indian Army. And 2 days after that, another group of terrorists that was trying to sneak in into the Indian territory has been neutralized by the Indian Army. 2 bodies are lying there. They have been noticed by the Indian Army, and now the searches are on in the area.
All right, good. Simran, thank you for the moment. We'll keep coming back to you to track all the latest on that. So 2 terrorists that have been gunned down in the Nowshera sector of J&K. A roundup of all that's making news from across the country. The ED summoned, in fact, has summoned Swapna Patkar, who's a witness in the Patra Chaul lands case for interrogation. Meanwhile, Shiv Sena MP, remember Sanjay Raut, is in judicial custody that has been extended till 5th of September. In a major boost to defence forces, the government has allowed them to buy critical weapon systems for their operational requirements through emergency procurement route. The approval was given in a meeting of Defence Ministry, as per which the weapon systems can be procured only through Make in India route. The meeting was headed by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Unidentified people, miscreants opened fire in New Delhi's JJ colony, where the incident claimed lives of 2 people while 1 remains critical. Brother of one of the deceased said that 2 unidentified people with their covered face opened fire in the colony.
मेरी बाइक को फ़ोन आया था कि ऐसे से बड़े भाई को गोली लग गई है, तो सर मैं यहाँ पे आया, जब देखा तो छोटा वाला जो मेरे से बड़ा भाई है वो लेके जा रहा था स्कूटी पे उसको हॉस्पिटल। तो हमें तो यहाँ इन्होंने जो पड़ोसी थे इन्होंने बताया कि 2 लोग आए थे नकाब पहन के, बुक्का बांध के आए थे और उन्होंने फायरिंग करी है अंदर। यहाँ पर भाई यहाँ बैठे थे, 2 साथ में लड़के बुजुर्ग आदमी थे, एक का नाम मंगल था और एक का नाम मोहन। वो साथ बैठे थे, टीवी देख रहे थे, उनके गोली मारी है उनको भी, और एक एक्सपायर उसमें डेड हो गई है इसकी मंगल जी की, और एक।
Meanwhile, AIMIM leader Imtiaz Jaleel, while speaking on the release of 11 convicts in Bilkis Banu rape case, condemned the BJP government's silence in the matter, further saying that the AIMIM will continue to rake up the issue and stand up for Bilkis Banu.
वो इस बात का समर्थन करते हैं कि जिन्होंने इस तरह के भयानक हरकत को अंजाम दिया था वो आरोपी आज छूट जा रहे हैं, और छूटने के बाद उनका जगह जगह के ऊपर जो जंगी स्वागत किया जा रहा है, इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, क्या वो हमारी तहजीब का हिस्सा है? क्या वो हमारी संस्कृति का हिस्सा है? क्या वो किसी धर्म के अंदर बैठता है कि हाँ बलात्कारियों का इस तरह से सत्कार किया जाना चाहिए करके?
Lakshadweep BJP leader Mohammad Qasim has now been booked for insulting the Tiranga. The BJP leader accused of sharing pictures of holding the national flag upside down along with his wife on the social media. 500 Maoist sympathizers and supporters from Raligeda Panchayat in Odisha surrendered before the police and the BSF. They raised slogans as well and expressed their opposition towards Maoist ideology by burning their dresses and even vandalizing martyr pillars. Sri Lankan Navy, in a special operation to chase away the Indian ships poaching in island's waters, arrested 10 Indian fishermen from Thoothukudi district in Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, the Navy continues to carry out regular patrols in island's waters to prevent illegal fishing practices by foreign fishermen. Moving on then, with the ISIS terror plot having busted in Russia, details have now come to light about how the terrorist was an Uzbek national having earlier been trained in Turkey.
The detaining of an ISIS suicide bomber by Russia's Federal Security Service, the FSB, has raised alarm bells in India after it was revealed that the jihadi terrorist planned to attack top BJP leaders.
In an unusual move Monday morning, the Federal Security Service of Russia, the successor to the KGB, came out with a press note in which they said that they have detained a man who is a citizen of one of the Central Asian republics and was a recruit of the Islamic State and was wanting to go to India and carry out a suicide bombing targeting top levels of the establishment in New Delhi, possibly leaders of the BJP or RSS or even those in the government. What is interesting is that they did not share the nationality in the first go. Indian agencies were gotten in touch and informed about this. It so transpired that this man, later identified as a national of Uzbekistan and the name of Mashrabakon Azamov, was recruited by the Islamic State in Turkey. Remember, from Uzbekistan, recruited in Turkey, coming to Delhi via Moscow. In fact, in a confession statement that was also released by the FSB, Azamov said that he was recruited in Turkey to carry out this bombing in India to avenge the Prophet remarks.
Republic TV has accessed the jihadi terrorist's chilling confession video detailing how he planned to carry out the attack in India.
Я Азамов Машархон Тохир Ола 1992 году в апреле 2022 год дал байат амиру исламского государства по имени Юсуф Таджики. В 2022 году приходил специальную подготовку в Турцию. В 2022 году по указанию Юсуф Таджика я летел в Россию.
But who did the jihadi terrorist plan to assassinate?
Remember the television debate controversy surrounding Nupur Sharma. So Islamic State having made a statement that they would want to take revenge for these kind of statements and teach India a lesson. At the time of Ayman al-Zawahiri, when he was still alive, before he was eliminated by the Americans last month, now it seems that some of those foot soldiers were carrying out this plan. And what is diabolical, what is dangerous is that according to Azamov, once he landed in India, he was to get ground support from a sleeper cell present here. And that's what has got the agencies worried, whether this sleeper cell, because Islamic State does not have those kind of logistics in India, was to be provided by the deep state in Pakistan, our neighbor, which specializes in these kind of activities, and that's why focus now is on to find out who was going to support Azamov in terms of logistics to carry out that suicide bombing once he landed in India. In any case, it was a dangerous plan of the Islamic State and shows that the agencies have to be on their watch to make sure something untoward does not happen.
Authorities in India are working on leads received from Russia. They are probing whether the terror network within Pakistan and sleeper cells was indeed facilitating the ISIS bomber to carry out a terror attack in India. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And more breaking news coming in as Congress self-combustion mode continues. It's Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot now who has made these remarks saying that if Rahul Gandhi does not become the party president, it will be a disappointment for the congressmen across the country. That's the remark that is coming in from the Rajasthan Chief Minister, calling on Rahul Gandhi to become the party chief. So that is the latest coming in. Let's once again listen into that soundbite of the Rajasthan Chief Minister on Rahul Gandhi.
इसमें देश में कांग्रेस जन की भावनाओं को समझते हुए पूरे देश के अंदर उनको खुद को ये पद स्वीकार करना चाहिए। देखो, राहुल गांधी नहीं बनते अगर मान लीजिए तो इसमें देश में कांग्रेस जनों निराशा आएगी, कई लोग घर बैठ जाएंगे और तकलीफ होगी हम लोगों को। उनको चाहिए कि वो आम कांग्रेस जन की भावनाओं को समझते हुए पूरे देश के अंदर उनको खुद को ये पद स्वीकार करना चाहिए।
And Anuj is also live with us. But first, let me go across to Shehzad Poonawalla of the BJP also joining us. Sir, if you can give us your reaction, we just played out the soundbite of Ashok Gehlot calling on Rahul Gandhi to become the party chief. Seems that the Gandhis are not ready to move beyond, of course, the Gandhi clan.
In the Congress party, it is only the parivar that matters, not performance. And because it is parivar above performance, the man who's lost 30 elections on the trot, who has taken Congress down, who has himself lost his seat in Amethi, is still being picked as the next president of the Congress. But anyways, in the Congress party, the topmost position is only reserved for one family. And therefore, if you see, even the members of the G23 or somebody like me, whoever spoke about internal accountability, democracy, meritocracy in the Congress party, were shown the way out, because internal accountability, internal democracy and merit have no place in the Congress party. So therefore, Ashok Gehlot is only espousing what is the common Darbari culture in the Congress party. In the Congress, there are only Darbaris, and all these Darbaris will only hail the king, who is Rahul Gandhi. They have no internal accountability or internal democracy or internal election.
Well, sir, do you just to reiterate that point that you mentioned about accountability, do you think that Congress is, Rahul Gandhi for that matter, is not ready to take that accountability, which is why he is not ready to accept that leadership role?
Gandhis have always believed in power without responsibility or any kind of accountability, and therefore they ran the UK government with the remote control of Manmohan Singh, and now perhaps Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he's running all the affairs for all the practical reasons in the party, but does not want to ascend to the throne simply because he does not want to take responsibility. Anyways, the Congress can't think beyond one family, and it's a family-run organization. It's a one party, one person proprietary concern.
All right. Thank you, Shehzad Poonawalla, for giving us your response. So we have Anuj also joining us right now. Anuj, if you can get us some more details. We understand that loyalist Ashok Gehlot is of course batting for Rahul Gandhi to become the party chief, but Congress, Rahul Gandhi seems very unwilling when it comes to taking on that leadership role.
Well, we need to understand that this happened after 2019 general election, when Rahul Gandhi gave the resignation from the post of the president of the Congress party. And after that, we are continuously seeing the loyalists of Rahul Gandhi is continuously trying that the Congress party should have a president, and he should be, or the president should be, Rahul Gandhi. That is something which has been, if we call about the batting which has been done for Rahul Gandhi by the loyalists of Rahul Gandhi. This is not the first time when Ashok Gehlot is coming out with such kind of reaction and claiming it, what exactly the importance of Rahul Gandhi to that particular chair, or rather the chair need Rahul Gandhi. That is something which has been stated by Ashok Gehlot. But we need to understand that this is divided in the lobbies. We have seen the split in the Congress party. So we have seen the G23 leadership where one lobby is very much different and they are having the different line. Whereas on the other hand, these are the loyalists of Rahul Gandhi, including Ashok Gehlot. As I am telling, that this is not the first time when Ashok Gehlot is batting for Rahul Gandhi that he should be the president of the Congress party. But since from then Rahul Gandhi is not ready to take the accountability, and Rahul Gandhi is not ready to sit on the chair. On the other hand, this is none other but Sonia Gandhi, the mother, who is the interim president of the Congress party. So the Congress party is very much confused about the thing, because none other than the Gandhis is ready to sit on the chair, or rather do not have the opportunity to sit on the chair, and Rahul Gandhi is also not willing to take the position and to be the president of the Congress party. So this is going to be more confusing state for the Congress party.
Yes, Anuj, we leave it at that. It remains to be seen what really comes out of it. It's yet again another statement. Many such statements have been made in the past as well. Moving on for now to more breaking news coming in. And breaking news coming in from Karnataka, where Section 144 has been imposed in the Kodagu district ahead of Congress planned protest and the Jan Jagriti Sammelan by the BJP, which is planned for August 26. So Section 144 that has been imposed in Karnataka's Kodagu district ahead of the planned protest by the Congress in the state of Karnataka. So ahead of Congress protest and the BJP program, which is the Jan Jagriti Sammelan planned for August 26, in fact, the Section 144 that has been imposed in the district. A quick roundup of all that's making news from the world of sports. Indian batsman Shubham Gill has broken captain Rohit Sharma's record by becoming India's youngest player to hit a century in international cricket. Gill slammed a century in fact, made a century in the third ODI of the ongoing Zimbabwe tour in Harare. Manchester United manager Eric Ten Hag praised Manchester United's attitude in the win over Liverpool at Old Trafford. Further, he also hoped better performance from his team.
We have a long way to go, and when you are in the process, you have to deal with setbacks. Sometimes you have highlights. Today is a highlight, but yeah, we just started, and what we have to get is the way to above. We have still a lot of room for improvement, and that is what we have to work for. But I hope the players now understand. And the base is always team, fighting spirit.
Indian shuttlers at the BWF World Championship 2022 showcased powerful performances to advance into the next round. The first match of the Indian shuttlers saw B. Sai Praneeth crash out of the ongoing championship after losing in the first round of men's singles category. World number 2 Alexander Zverev has withdrawn from the US Open as he continues his recovery following the ankle surgery that he underwent. The 25-year-old underwent surgery in June after damaging ligaments in his right ankle. And James Duckworth defeated Kokkinakis in an all-Australian affair in the opening round of the ATP Tour Winston-Salem Open in the final warm-up event before the US Open. It was the first time the two players met on the tour. Slipping into a very short break, lots on the other side. Uproar as BJP leader insults Tiranga, FIR slapped against the BJP leader.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Karti, why is it becoming about enforcement director? How did 50 lakh rupees become 2,000 crores with the Congress party answer? Because you raised the issue of ED in the press conference. That's why it's being asked. Your party is raising the issue of ED only when the Gandhis are under scandal. This kind of protest never happened when you were under scandal, Karti. You should be able to speak about it, Karti.
जी आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, भाजपा से क्या दिक्कत हो गई?
सब लोगों की इच्छा यही हुई है कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए।
मनीष सिसोदिया के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है, केजरीवाल के पुतले को आग लगा दी गई है और अब तीसरा पुतला सत्येंद्र जैन के रूप में उसको भी आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। ये बैरिकेड तोड़ने की कोशिश कार्यकर्ताओं की तरफ स्वदेश गुप्ता जो बैरिकेड के ऊपर चढ़ गए हैं और बैरिकेड को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल इस्तीफा दो के नारे, लगातार पोस्टर और यही मांग की जा रही है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल मनीष सिसोदिया को बर्खास्त करें, सत्येंद्र जैन को बर्खास्त करें। कैबिनेट में दोनों बने हुए हैं।
We are right now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway in Shimoga. A message is being sent out clearly to all the people who are breaking the law. They should be scared of the strong actions those are being taken.
Elections will be held and the Supreme Court has appointed a returning officer who will oversee a fair election. All associations across India will have a representation, which means it is as democratic as it can get in Indian football. The Supreme Court has said the decisions taken to dissolve the COA of the AIFF has been done keeping the interest of India and Indian football in mind, which means they want the World Cup to be held in India at any cost.
एबीपी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने, और रोड पर अभी जाम लगा दिया है। इन पर लाठीचार्ज हुआ था और लाठीचार्ज करने के बाद यहाँ पे अब लगातार गहलोत सरकार के खिलाफ नारेबाजी जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्र कर रहे हैं।
Sensational assassination plot involving an ISIS terrorist, a native of a city.
There you can see a large number of Congress workers are being detained. They're outside the Congress headquarters. There's a large number of protest workers who are being denied over here. They are saying that they will fight till the very end.
A Tamil Nadu minister, Sparks Rao, compares the Modi government to British rule at Oxford. 10 ancient idols are allegedly stolen from a temple in Jalna. Massive uproar over theft. UK academic moves the Delhi High Court challenges deportation from the Kerala airport. Uproar as the BJP leader insults the Tiranga. FIR slapped against him. In the talk for graft charges, court to hear Satendra Jain's bail plea today. Rao over Ganesh celebration at the Eidgah Maidan. Pramod Muthallik launches a controversial signature campaign. Good morning and welcome. You are watching live and breaking. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. We begin with news that's just coming in. In fact, a bomb threat call was received at a prominent hotel in Mumbai. An identified person called the hotel and said that bombs have been kept at 4 places in the hotel and demanded 5 crore rupees to defuse the bombs. The case has been registered at the Sahar police station under section 336 and 507 of the IPC. So a bomb threat call being received at a prominent hotel in Mumbai. An unidentified person, we are given to understand, called the hotel and said that bombs have been placed at 4 locations inside the hotel. He then demanded a ransom of 5 crore rupees. The police, of course, checked the entire premises and we're given to understand that thereafter he demanded 5 crores to defuse them. Alicia is joining us live. She's reporting on this. Alicia, good morning. Alicia, give us more details of what happened.
Well, it was a call that was made yesterday at around 6 p.m. and the unidentified person has called the hotel and clearly mentioned that there are 4 bombs that he has placed inside the hotel, which is Lalit Hotel in Sahar. And he also asked for a ransom of rupees 5 crore to defuse the bomb. After which the hotel administration has given the information to the police, that is to the Sahar police, where they have reached with the dog squads and they have checked the entire premises of the hotel and they did not found anything. The preliminary investigation suggests that this is something, an hoax call that was made by an unidentified person. At this point of time, where the Sahar police has already registered a case under the IPC section against unknown person, and the investigation is still underway.
All right. Alicia, as you're pointing out, of course, preliminary information seems to suggest that this was a hoax call. And the police, we are told, did carry out searches at the entire premises.
Well, yes, the time the call was made, the information has been given to the police control room, where the police reached to the spot, and they have, with the dog squads and the other officials who have reached to the hotel, and the police has clearly informed that there was no suspicious thing in and around the hotel. So they suggest that it's something, a hoax call that was made by someone. But considering the matter and of course the ongoing situation, even we know there was a threat call that was the threat messages that was sent on WhatsApp to the Mumbai police traffic control, after which the Mumbai is in high alert. And after this call that was made in the Lalit Hotel is something taken into consideration. The FIR has already been registered and investigation is still underway.
All right, Alicia, bringing us all those details from Mumbai. Thank you for joining us. In fact, news coming in from Kerala now. The Kerala government has approached the Kerala High Court seeking cancellation of anticipatory bail of the writer Sivik Chandran in a sexual harassment case. Now, while granting bail, the Kozhikode Sessions Court had said that pictures that were used were sexually provocative dress. Let me go across to Ashwin. He has more details on the story. Ashwin, give us more details of why the Kerala government has moved the High Court seeking to cancel the anticipatory bail and what's mentioned in that petition.
Good morning, Nupur. Yes, the Kerala government has moved the High Court with a request to cancel the anticipatory bail given to the lower court by the Sessions Court in Kozhikode on August 12th, in which the judgment was that the prima facie there is no case of any harassment as the woman was wearing a sexually provocative dress. And based on this particular observation, the Sessions Court judge had given Sivik Chandran anticipatory bail. Now, on Monday, the Kerala government has approached the High Court stating that the judgment by the Sessions Court is pervasive, that it also is not right and it needs to be taken off, the comment needs to be taken off and the High Court needs to interfere. And based on which the Kerala government has approached the High Court stating that the anticipatory bail that was given by the Session Court to Sivik Chandran should be cancelled immediately.
Now, you know, Ashwin, in the plea that the government has in fact filed, it says that the findings and observations made by the Court of Sessions are highly deplorable, demeaning and anti-women, and it would eventually harm public trust in the judicial system. You know, the government, of course, also wants these remarks that have been made against the complainant in the anticipatory bail plea hearing to be expunged.
Absolutely, because this is not the first sexual assault case that has been registered against Sivik Chandran. This is the second one that has happened. Now, he's a 75-year-old writer. Now, what the government has stated in the plea is very specific. What they have stated, the lower court judge suffers from illegality, lack of sensitivity, sobriety and perversity. Now, these are the main comments that has been put in by the state government and asking the High Court to ensure that the anticipatory bail given by the lower court be cancelled immediately.
Now also, Ashwin, can you give us more details in terms of what the Sessions Court had said while granting anticipatory bail to the writer?
See, essentially the Sessions Court had given anticipatory bail on two conditions. One was a very shocking comment which led to a large-scale public outrage, which
just
obviously was prima facie, and I quote.
Ashwin, stay with me. I'm going to come back to you in just a bit. Miss Adige on the phone line with me now. Miss Brinda Adige, good morning. Miss Adige, you know, what we are given to understand is that the lower court judge in granting anticipatory bail to the writer essentially said that the woman was wearing sexually provocative dress and hence, you know, going on then to, in a detailed order, of course, grant bail. What do you make of this, and also of the fact that the Kerala government has now moved the High Court against this?
I'm glad the Kerala government has taken the step to move the High Court, and it is absolutely appalling to have the judge give bail because the woman was wearing provocative clothing. Is there a definition anywhere in our constitution or in any of our laws of what is provocative attire? What are these judges getting at? Why is it that they are bringing their petty, patriarchal, chauvinistic, misogynistic mindset into the court halls? They have no right. Bail is a right of every citizen, I agree. But giving an anticipatory bail to somebody who is a repeat offender, it is not first time that this guy has done something like this. He has done something like this in the past also. And it is making citizens to erode their confidence in courts, and especially on judges who pass an exam and come but are unworthy to sit on that chair dispensing judgment. Because victim survivors come to judges, come to courts, assuming that they will get some justice, they will get protection. And here, this victim survivor has got neither. I want to find out what has the judge even extended protection to the victim survivor after granting bail? What is this judge doing there?
Not just that, Ms.
Absolutely
Adige. Ms. Adige, the fact of the matter is that it also, essentially questions the right to the survivors' right to freedom under the Constitution, because these are comments that in that sense will have to, the Kerala government also states need to be expunged.
You're absolutely right. What the state is now failing as a result of this judgment and this judge giving anticipatory bail is protecting the victim survivors, protecting women. When all our laws and our Prime Minister continuously keeps talking about extending that respect and dignity to women, here we are telling this woman, now be scared, don't ever complain, don't wear clothes that somebody who's petty-minded thinks that they are revealing. You're constantly telling this woman that you're a slave of the patriarchal structure and functionaries, and that is unacceptable.
All right, Brinda Adige joining us on that. Thank you for speaking with us. So that, of course, was Brinda Adige saying that remarks like this need to be questioned. Just to tell our viewers about the gist of what's happened so far, of course, the Kerala government has now moved the High Court asking for the anticipatory bail plea that was granted by a Sessions Court to essentially be repealed. So that case, of course, will go up in the High Court. And cutting across to the Savarkar Rath Yatra that takes place today. The Rath Yatra has been organized by the Veera Savarkar Pratishtha. The Rath Yatra will start from the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa's home at about 11 o'clock in the morning. And right now we are told that it is leaving from the Mysore Palace Anjaneya Swami temple. So the BJP, of course, is making the issue about Veer Savarkar into a big controversy. Do remember that there's been a controversy that is surrounding posters of Veer Savarkar that were put outside the Congress office in Karnataka. However, they were later removed and then re-put. So Yediyurappa over there is looking to flag off that yatra that takes place in Karnataka. So the Rath Yatra, of course, takes place today, and senior leadership, of course, will be participating in this Rath Yatra. Yediyurappa is going to be flagging off the first leg of this Rath Yatra. Do remember that. Right. Niranjan on the phone line with us. Let's go across to him. Niranjan, the BJP, of course, wanting to capitalize on this politically as much as they can.
Well, yes, and it appears that this is some sort of, bait that the Congress has also taken. And ahead of the election season, this is all about ideologies. I think it all comes down to that, boils down to that, Nupur. And it's very clear that the BJP is going to capitalize on this. And what is extremely interesting, that we noticed here especially is that it's going to be Yediyurappa who's going to be flagging off this yatra. And Yediyurappa, the former Chief Minister of Karnataka, but he's still the tallest leader for the BJP in Karnataka. So he's flagging off this rally at 11, and it's going to be extremely significant. The BJP's entire plan seems to be, as of now, with the Congress party on the back foot on the Savarkar issue, they're trying to capitalize on it. I think Dr. Shankara Guha is joining us from the Congress party. Let's try and get in a word from it. Shankara Guha's Congress party taken the bait on Savarkar because clearly the BJP is running away from it. You can ask them about whether they're going to make it the main issue, Karnataka, but certainly you're not playing any less.
On communal division and polarization, let them hold it. We are not against the Savarkar. Let them hold it. They can do it. I would rather, ask them to hold yatra on development or an abhayan on development. But unfortunately, they have nothing more to say because there is zero development. The state has gone back by 10 or 15 years. There is all sorts of misappropriation. It's a 40% government. I'm not saying this. The Contractors Association has said that and they stick by this. So they can try their best to communally, cause tensions and polarize. Certainly, the people of the state are much more intelligent. I'm sure they're not going to fall for their agenda. I wish them all luck. Let them do it.
Yeah, but do you think your party also sort of fallen for this trap? Now this, you accuse them, but Dr. Guha, you see, I'll give you two examples. One example is where, you had Sidramaya saying that it's a Muslim area, why don't you put Tussu Sultan poster? You're not doing any less than your own party workers are burning Savarkar posters. Why are you doing that? Why is your party workers burning Savarkar posters in Vijaypura?
No, listen to me. First of all, in Vijaypura, somebody trespassing into the Congress office is wrong.
Will you burn Savarkar posters?
Trespass. No. Burning in Karnataka. No, let me tell you. In Karnataka, the Congress party, the head of the party is the Pradesh Congress Committee Adhyaksh. Has he given anything in dictum? If somebody has done it, it is his foolishness. The party cannot be blamed for that. See, some individual. No, if some individual has done it, why are you blaming the party?
Are you calling Sidramaya
individual? Blaming the party. No. You spoke about Bijapur. When you speak about Bijapur, somebody has done it there. Has the party given any dictum? Has it given anything in writing? The president of our party has steered very clear away from this controversy.
Okay. I'll give you an example, Dr. Guha. Okay, Dr. Guha, if BJP workers, just an example. If BJP workers were to, just assume for a minute, not drawing equivalence at all, but if BJP workers were to burn, for example, say Nehru posters outside a BJP office. Just an example. Would you blame the party or would you blame a individual?
You would blame the individual who is doing it. Unfortunately, the ideology of the BJP is completely lost. They don't have anything beyond causing communal tensions there. It is more than evident. Come on. Even you know it. See, you may be carrying this news. Even you know it. What is happening in the state in the last 3 years? There have been more than 30
But my only point is my limited. I started by saying that Dr. Guha
is not.
No, I started by saying you can complete. I just want to make a short rebuttal. I said you can complete your point, but I started my point by saying they're making it the number one issue, which it should not be. But my point to you also is you're not playing any less. Your party is not any less. Your party is also playing along.
We are not. See, they are indulging into this, but we are not going to indulge. My president has made it very clear last week when he addressed the media that we are not going to involve in these things. Good luck to them. I have one word of caution for all my BJP friends and cadres of BJP. Be careful. As the elections are closing by, your own party men are going to get you involved in this even more and watch the fun from behind. Be careful. Don't fall prey to these things. Be careful.
But the fact that Yediyurappa